Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made-up word. MCs shied away from belief.
Is that how you're starting it?
That's how I'm starting it. Mouth exercises. One.
What are you doing?
Mouth warm-ups for the big event.
What's your big event?
If you didn't know, why were you doing the mouth warm-ups with me? Like, seriously.
I didn't want to be left out. I wanted to fit in.
Well, it's for the State of the Nerd address, of course, the first annual.
Oh, nice. So let's talk about it.
Welcome to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom, where we are two 30 to 40-something-year-olds, where we talk about pretty much whatever we want. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle. You guys might know us online from the Twitches as GuyverUNT01. That's Chris next to me, or KSIG, K_SIG. That's me. And we have two special guests with us.
Very special guests. They are friends of the show.
Yeah.
Well, we want to say they're friends of the show.
They're friends.
They kind of showed up.
That showed up.
We didn't tell them to show up. Did you tell them to show up?
No. I barely know how to get here.
Well, good point. Welcome, Mr. Justin.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Justin was known for our very special WandaVision episodes. And Mystery Science Theater.
Word.
Oh yeah, he was was he our first?
He was our first.
He was the first.
You were our first.
Oh.
You were our first.
That makes me feel special.
Yep. And then next to him we have Mr. BRob that has been with us through several. You did almost all of Phase 1 Marvel with us.
Almost the entire thing.
Almost the entire thing, and now he's back again. So.
Glutton for punishment.
First, thank you guys for agreeing to come back to our little nerd show, number one. Number two, you both have gotten great feedback. I've gotten great feedback about you both, about how knowledgeable you are and how...
They just gave each other knucks on there.
It's our way to slowly take over the show. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, if that's what you want to do, go for it.
The plan is to become so much more popular than both of you.
Well, that's not hard to do.
That's what I need Coda's voice to be able to do.
Yeah.
Choices.
Choices. Now, Kyle, if you look.
Oh, is that the...
Soundboard.
Okay.
Okay, so, State of the Nerd address. What is the State of the Nerd? We are going to, it's like State of the Union, except we're going to go through the past year, which was probably one of the shittiest years, I would say, on record.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to go about how it impacted nerd culture, television, movies, comics, just everything. So let's start.
Getting caught up on the old agenda here. I had to zoom it in because you had it like tiny and my eyes are terrible and I can't read anything.
Kyle's old.
I'm old.
Gandalf has old eyes.
Gandalf
does.
I was wondering when that was coming.
I am I'm the youngest one here. So you guys can all three eat one.
Well, we are all drinking right now. We either have a Hawaiian beer in our hand or some Sonic alcoholic drinks.
Or both.
Or both.
Double fisting.
We have two hands.
What do you guys think so far?
Good.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah. Kona beer, definitely the way to
Oh,
go. And the Sonic seltzers, at least the mango guava.
Excellent.
Thumbs up.
And we're not what do I have? I got the cherry limeade that Chris hates and I think is amazing.
As he's downing it.
It's so good.
Well, it's because I think I was setting myself up for a cherry limeade.
That's more limeade.
And that's the problem.
I feel like that's where I always fail with the seltzers. I get excited about like what it says the taste is going to be, and then like,
Yeah, I'm exactly. That's where I am too, and I'm not much of a drinker anymore.
So for the listeners, basically just fast forward to an hour from now and see what the effect is of all the beer.
Well, we know what it'll be. Be like, you're really pretty.
I love love you.
We're gonna have to turn the lights down so they're Ned's-esque.
That's right. It's like,
Well, and we're gonna have to pee all over the floor and throw up somewhere to get the right smell.
Yeah.
it's like,
But everybody's going to be handsome.
but Kyle, you're model pretty.
Going to break out karaoke with no karaoke machine.
For those that don't know, Ned's is the iconic bar at the college town where we all went.
We all used to
So-
hang out at
Yeah.
because it was basically one
Pretty
of the
sure
few
I
places.
own like a table and chairs and maybe some of the bricks. I don't know.
Hey, we sunk a lot of money. A lot of change checks went in there. Yeah.
I remember going in just totally broke one night, ordering a pitcher and just getting a straw. Because literally I had $5 to my name until I got paid again and just got hammered off of a pitcher just drinking it through a straw.
I've heard the straw trick does things.
It does.
I'll have to try it out.
Wait, that's the thing. We make money. We don't have to now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We can afford things
It's
in
in, the name,
bottles.
it's in the name of science.
Penny
Science,
saved,
thank
Chris.
you, thank
Penny
you.
saved.
No, I like what
That's the name of science.
I can
Science.
finally stop eating ramen every night.
Or if you really want to, be an uppity guy, you can go to Virginia and get that really expensive ramen.
Yeah.
It is
Ooh,
good,
yeah.
though.
That's great
It's great,
ramen.
but hard for me to pay $18 for.
For it.
Let's get the cheap ramen and try to make it look good. So we have
You can scoot back.
first on the list was favorite episode. So you tell me like what the favorite episode that we've done.
Yeah, the favorite episode we've done, and with you two have done multiple episodes. What was the favorite thing that you've done with the podcast so far? So let's start with Kyle.
Probably my favorite was when we started doing WandaVision, because that's when we really started getting into like Marvel conspiracy theory type stuff.
It was Mephisto.
It's always Mephisto.
Mm-hmm.
I should have made you the red one in
I'm
here.
beating BRob to this. It's Mephisto.
And so that gave us a lot of our running jokes. That kind of established the tone for all these little short, that were supposed to be the short episodes, the Nerkies, yeah. They ended up being longer than the regular episodes. Like I already knew BRob, so, there's that. But got to meet Justin, and
Because Justin graduated before you came.
yeah, he's old.
Oh wow.
That's what it was. That's
Yeah.
why he never met you.
Yeah. Yeah. But that established kind of a tone for things and I think that's kind of when we started getting our rhythm. So they were fun to do. Just that's when we started really picking apart things scene by scene and finding like little Easter eggs in the background, and how we were able to really start forming like theories and stuff, which like half of them were sort of right. Most of mine, maybe.
Mostly yours. Mostly yours. My favorite episode to date that we've done would probably be the start. I want to stick with you on the whole WandaVision.
Yeah.
Because that's where we really started getting our groove. But I really liked when we started doing the MCU stuff too, just in depth, because it was kind of like a gateway for me, like for us to just start getting more into our groove too. So I'm in between those two, but I think I'm going to lean more towards the start of the MCU stuff.
And next week we're gonna review how Stella got her groove back. So
Oh yes,
we can actually just really talk about
scene by scene.
got into the groove. Really.
Oh, girl.
I'm still waiting to exhale.
Good call. So
we need the
Correct. I don't know which one it is. I'm watching levels. Oh, it's that one. Yeah. Okay, a little bit late, but
Now you know where it is.
do you
I don't
have
know where it is.
the DJ? Wah, wah, wah.
I think he's got so many on here.
I've got like 3 levels of these.
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff.
Nice.
You can go in the bed. Yeah, he's got. Holy crap! How many sound effects do you have?
I like to make sound effects.
You've got 4 pages. What?
You're the Michael Winslow of
I really am.
podcasting.
He
I
is.
can make sound effects real quick. Like,
Hey, get out of here!
Oh my God, Danny DeVito, I love your work.
There's so much stuff. I would lose all kinds of time playing with this. That's what she said. I know. This is one of those up there, too.
Yeah.
You got it hockeyed and ready to go.
That's what she says.
Oh,
That's what she said.
keep that queued up.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right, Justin, what was your favorite episode? Either you can either do the podcast or that you did. Preferably one that you did. Hopefully, you liked one that you did.
They were fine. You know, I don't listen to anything that isn't mine.
Ah,
So
that's good.
yeah, I mean, why? So I can really only talk knowledgeably about the ones I've done. I think I'll echo definitely the idea of getting into WandaVision and getting deep into conspiracy theories or getting deep into lore and being able to really do some research and then talk about it in depth. And I thought that was great. But I really, honestly, you'll never forget your first. So the Mystery Science Theater one, I think, was so much fun because we just got to talk about favorite episodes, have lines, do all of that, and of course can talk about that for days and days.
Yeah.
So I would probably circle that one, but I definitely recognize and support that the WandaVision, I think, is where the podcast really started to take its own and go. And the MCU stuff with BRob is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about where the podcast is going for you guys and for all the listeners and for us that get to ride your coattails.
Well,
As small as they may be.
they're teeny.
Plotting to
tiny.
take them over.
Or
Teeny
ride
little
your
crisp
beard
coattails.
tails.
That's true.
Your tail. Okay.
BRob.
I mean, I think my favorite was definitely WandaVision. I mean, I wasn't involved in that one, but I think that's really where you guys came into your own and you were so polished and ready. And I think it really, or as polished and ready as you guys can get. But
Yeah.
there was really a lot of
We're
thought that went into it, even if Mephisto always was at the end game for one person. But, they were really, really good, and I was really proud to be involved with that because I like I said, I feel like just being involved with Everything's Got to Nerd, period, gave me some credibility after that because, like I said, you guys really talked through a lot of things I don't think anybody was thinking about. But for me, I think the very last episode when we went over the Avengers in the MCU and then Phase 1, I think that was my favorite one because we proved we could get through it all.
Yep.
Because I think there was some doubt.
There was some doubt.
And I really think that just really, we broke everything down real well. We talked about, I mean, a lot of the passion came out of what we really enjoy. And there's a lot of the side conversations because, I mean, that was really the first time the three of us have really got to really talk in a long time. And so a lot of different things came out. So that was probably my favorites.
Right on. I'm not going to argue with
I was
any of
going
those.
to definitely agree with BRob that the thing starting with the WandaVision and then going definitely into the MCU and all that, you definitely saw a much more polished, and it went from just a couple of dudes that were having fun to actually, oh, this sounds and has everything of a major podcast. So, so major kudos to you guys for continuously honing your craft and trying to be better every week.
Thank you.
guys.
Well, that was to Kyle.
Yeah,
okay.
well, what you don't realize, most of the polishing and honing happens off camera because we can't. It's a whole different.
Nobody wants to see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, you can. It's $5 a month on.
Speaking of five, give them $5 for being nice to us.
Oh, okay, yeah,
The
Um,
OnlyFans.
yeah.
Only something. It's only
Well,
nerds.
I think it's really easy when people start podcasts that it's something, oh, these people just woke up and decided they wanted to do this. And, you kind of come off as, especially in this culture and this group of people, the typewriter warriors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can be a poser. And I think just a lot of the knowledge that you guys have in different areas, I mean, you play to each other's strengths really well. So.
Speaking of keyboard typewriter warriors,
I was wondering if you're going to bring this shit up.
this was it. That I was
Yesterday.
just waiting for the segue, and BRob gave it to me.
I reported him, so it's gone. By the
I was already gone.
Yes.
Son of a bitch. All right. So, do you want to talk about it?
So I got a notification yesterday from YouTube that said it was off of Bad Batch episode 1. And basically the guy stated that, wait, hold on, I will read it.
This was a comment on the video.
About all the dick jokes.
No, you would think that's what it would
That's
be.
where I thought this was going.
Was it from someone
No.
that's associated with?
No.
Never heard of this.
Or
No.
just
See,
random?
the
Keyboard warrior
the dick jokes are acceptable apparently,
and the fart jokes.
and the fart jokes and the shit jokes. Well, he probably didn't make it that far. But anyway,
So,
what?
Bad Batch, eh? I remember a certain German somebody calling a certain group of somebodies the same thing. Before, during, and after a certain war that involved the whole world. Anti-Semitic much?
What a douchebag. I mean, come on.
Well,
We didn't create the characters.
It sounds like he's not sure in himself because it's just
No.
a certain one of a certain thing. So
Well,
He seems very uncertain about the certain
exactly.
thing.
I
Yeah.
am certain he is a douchebag.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
And I'm certain he didn't watch any of this or anything, just saw the title. And
Yeah.
someone last night went and looked at his profile, and it's all conspiracy things.
That was me. I went down the rabbit hole.
Don't. Never read the comments.
Right.
No, it didn't. And
Come on,
so,
Ralph. Did you not watch Ralph Breaks the Internet?
Oh,
You
yeah,
never
that's-
read the comments.
you never do, but at the same time, I want our page to be,
Yeah.
you know, we love for you guys to interact. Like BRob and Justin are two of the best in our chat, getting it going. We
Mhm.
love that, and you know, make fun of us. Like we encourage it. We love that. You become racist and accuse people of being racist, we're gonna take that shit down. Like there's no place in this society for that.
Hmm.
That's not for us. That's not what we want to do.
The that like usually stuff doesn't get me riled up. For some reason that did. I think I was just feeling good last night when you told me. Like I was
You were in a fighting mood.
I was on one last night. Like this son of a bitch. Show him, whatever. But yeah, they definitely didn't watch it. They were just looking for something. But
I mean, honestly, some of the stuff that we talk, I'm kind of surprised that that's the first thing.
that's the thing. I know
So,
the stuff that we've said. Like
There's
we've
plenty
pushed
that
it up
people
against
can
the line. Like we haven't really crossed the line. We haven't really even played with even satirically being non-PC.
well, enough.
Yeah.
Remember how worked up I was and how worried I was about my comment about Samuel L. Jackson getting
Yeah.
cast as Nick Fury. I mean, that really, I was like, man, is that something? And I didn't even, it was just kind of right. It was just a comment,
Mhm.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't
Bad.
inflammatory
But
at all.
you know how today is. And
Yeah.
a million people can take it a million different ways.
And it didn't like yours. It didn't come from a bad place. It was from purely, a lore standpoint and all
the
that
comic books too.
Yeah.
You know.
to what it is now. And
When-
that went okay. But apparently, just us naming the name of the show that we were covering.
And
Wow.
I did do a Google search. I didn't find anything about it. Bad Batch referenced it all, by the way. Doesn't mean it wasn't. But at the same time, I didn't find anything in the Googles.
I
And
don't
we know.
maybe it's at the very back of this dude's copy of Mein Kampf.
I think
Could be.
Oh, no, he calls it Man Camp. It's
From the man
it's
camp.
It's a summer guide.
Guys like that are what I call comment terrorists. They'll come in, they'll drop a bomb, and then run away and never comment again,
Mhm.
or they don't want to engage. They don't want to have thoughtful comment, or why would you talk about this? What was the idea? And have that back and forth. It's just I'm going to drop this bomb, run away, and I'm going to blow up as much as I can.
And
Right.
So
you probably read it on some website that has like 8 syllables in the name and that you can't ends in XYZ or some shit. So, oh well.
Oh, well, whatever.
Oh, but if he does happen to listen to this one, you're a dick. So
Yeah, and we've already given you way too much time.
Yep.
talking about it.
yeah, for sure.
So let's skip around on this part here.
you want
Instead
to come back to that later?
of- on the TV shows? We'll
I
do
mean-
that after this next one. The
Okay, you want to go ahead and hit this right now then?
Yeah, because this was a great comment, or it was on our group text that BRob brought up. So, and we've got a hard stop today, so I want to make sure over everything we get to this. BRob, what did you talk about? What did you tell
So
us?
as we're
you
talking
wanna talk
about this last year, the things that really meant a lot to us, things we enjoyed. I think the passing of Chadwick Boseman is something that was very impactful, not only to the entertainment industry, the MCU, but I think generally just the world, who this dude was.
Right.
The roles he took on, the roles he refused to take on, the roles that he asked to be removed from because they were stereotypical. He was just a solid. How he handled his cancer. I mean, he didn't tell anybody.
No.
Yeah.
So I think there are just a lot of things about this guy that not only really how he portrayed T'Challa and Black Panther to how he played Jackie Robinson in 42. I mean, he was just an amazing entertainer and ultimately an amazing person, and he really paved the way for a lot the Michael B. Jordans, Anthony Mackies, and any other actor really from any background that wants to stand up and wants to use their platform in a positive way. So I just want to make sure that we talked about the impact that is not only has today, but how that shapes the future of the MCU and gives the opportunity, whether they put Shuri as Black Panther, they end can't remember his name, Man-8, whether he ends up taking it over at some point, how they do that, but it's going to reshape everything they had planned.
So let me ask you guys this. This is kind of a two-parter. Do you think that they would have gone the route of Sam as Captain America if it wasn't for Chadwick?
Yes.
Yeah.
You think they would have no matter what?
If-
You don't think they would have gone the Bucky route?
Following the comics, and there's several people who've taken the mantle for sure of Captain America, but if you follow the comics, that was kind of the logical next. I think it made it much more acceptable, and one of the parts I loved about Falcon and Winter Soldier was the idea of a black Captain America. Is America ready for this? And that part, I think, is very much not happening without Chadwick Boseman. I think there would be the keyboard warriors going crazy about, we can't have Falcon, we can't have this and that, with a veil underlining of, well, he's black, but no one's going to come out and say that, type of thing. And that's what I loved about Falcon and Winter Soldier, is that they just came out head on. And I think a lot of the, 2020 with, in 2021, the events, social, all of that, helped spur that, but I think it would not have happened as readily without Chadwick Boseman and the whole crew, right? The director,
Kevin? No. The director of Black Panther?
Yes. Mine's going blank.
In fact, we all have phones.
There you go. Ryan Coogler. There you go.
That's right.
So with Ryan Coogler and everything that he did with the production, with the bringing so much of black culture into the MCU and doing it in such an amazing way, I think opened up a lot of society, and having Chadwick Boseman as that standard bearer, as the king, literally, of all of that, made him iconic, not only for playing Jackie Robinson and Thurgood Marshall and James Brown and all of that, but now he is the king of Wakanda. And with him passing, man, there are a few celebrity deaths that have really impacted me. That was one. Prince was another one. There was a few that's it just, you feel like you lost a family member, and he was one, I think, to a lot of people because of MCU, because of everything he did. So, So to long answer to your short question, I think no, it wasn't necessarily just because of Chadwick Boseman, but I think Chadwick Boseman, yes, helped, and Ryan Coogler and everything else that was coming along the lines helped set up that it's much more acceptable to have Falcon, a black man, as Captain America.
Sure. And I agree with all that. And I think also the other part of it is Sam is a better embodiment of who Steve was. Bucky's broken. Bucky's really broken. And he's just now even starting to get a little bit. And even when he wasn't broken, he wasn't Steve.
No.
Right.
Sam is that dude that would jump on the grenade.
He did,
and you see what he does every day without superpowers. So I think that's the other part of it that makes me think, regardless of where we're at as a society, without Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, that was what they were going to follow the comic book lore and go with this character.
Right.
100%.
Kyle?
I was just kind of thinking back to what Justin was talking about, just the setup for Marvel having Falcon be Captain America, and having our first on-screen black Captain America. And I think they did a great job of setting it up through the series. They could have really cheapened it and just kind of shoehorned it in there, but all the episodes leading up to that, with the super soldier program through what was it, the Korean War? Is that what
To the Korean, yeah.
Yeah.
With Isaiah.
With Isaiah and all that, they did it right, and they did it justice, and they did it in a way to. You would just have to be a dick to go against that. I mean, honestly, like there's I don't see any way that you can be negative about that choice. And I think, Chadwick coming to the limelight and as Black Panther set the tone for that. I think you had Samuel L. Jackson before that, kind of laying the pave stones for him to walk up on. And him passing, I'm really curious to see what Marvel does next. But thinking back to him, not just in like the Marvel universe, and not just as an actor, but just as a celebrity in that realm. I don't remember any scandals, anything bad, and that's rare. Yeah. That is super rare. When BRob talked about how he kind of kept his personal life to himself, and nobody really, the cancer wasn't known until he was gone. He did a great job doing his job and being a role model and being out there and staying out of the bad stuff. And there's no scandal. There's nothing. I mean, we lost a really, really good one in that, because that's rare now. That's a shame that's rare.
Like Kyle was saying, I don't ever remember hearing anything bad about him. Like literally, like you'll always hear like Tom Cruise blew up at his crew, or
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. But I can't ever recall hearing a single bad thing about the guy. And I think his hit me so tough is because he was a year older than I was. Was he hoo ha. But it just so close, it hit so close to home that the guy was so young, so talented, and we just lost such a great person. And the nerd part of me just remembers thinking and I will fully admit this, nerd part of me goes, this just fucked over the Marvel Universe Phase 4, because this was completely unexpected. And he didn't, when he died, it came out, he didn't tell anyone in the MCU. And even the MCU, Disney, was surprised that he died of this.
So that's what I was wondering. I didn't know if they had like low-key knowledge of it, if he let them know. I didn't dive that far into it to find out.
Everything I read, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, like he completely covered it up. Like you wouldn't have thought he was sick at all.
Yeah. If you look at The Five Bloods and a couple other movies he did, you could tell he was getting like emaciated, like really thin. But if you didn't know and you'd follow his career, you thought, oh, this is a acting choice.
Yeah. He just went vegan.
Yeah. Man, he got really skinny for this role. Man, what
Christian Bale.
Yeah. Christian Bale did.
Yeah. But I think the biggest loss in my mind is, what are we now not going to get because he died?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so much potential and so much greatness, and not just the MCU, but everything else. What are we not going to get now?
Yeah, how tight are studios going to play this? Because like they don't want to be put in a position that they're planning for 6 films. Is it going to be like the Clone Wars, when they wrote like the 3-episode arcs, not knowing when something was to be canceled? Right. So is it going to start cheapening, as I do my air quotes, the product? And I was thinking about that on the way drive over here. I was just like, you don't want your head to go there and how it's going to. But I mean, how is this going to affect the overall?
I'm curious to see how they're going to actually address it in the films.
Well, I am just thrilled that they called it Wakanda Forever.
Right.
Which means. I know that they had one direction that they were going to go in, which means they had to completely 180 what they're going to do. So this is part of his legacy. What do you guys think? What do you think this movie will be about now that he's gone? Because he was supposed to be the main star.
Right. Well, it definitely has to be about who's going to be taking over the mantle.
Right. Because there's always a Panther.
Yeah. And so Shuri would be the logical step, but they had set her up to be the next Tony Stark. And so Feige even came out and said that she is the smartest person in the MCU
Right now.
And so, well, yes, right now.
You still hanging on to that?
Wait until Reed Richards.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
You're
The announcement.
you're hoping for Reed Richards, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would love to see Shuri as Black Panther, and in the comics, there is a time when she does.
But it was only for BRob, correct, one of you two. Like it was only like a year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
It was short.
It was short.
Really short.
So
They've pulled from so many other things that were just, and they've established like that they're not going to go straight word for word or panel for panel with the comics. They're
I'm glad
keeping
they're
in the
not.
spirit of it,
Glad they're not.
but this is its own thing. There's enough inspiration from the comics and from the books and all the lore to shape this, but it's very much its own thing.
Yeah. I'm hoping that as much as I want to see Shuri as Black Panther, I'm kind of hoping that they do keep her as connective tissue so she can come in and help out and be that Tony Stark that helps out, Spider-Man type of thing, and has the tech and does all of that. So that way her reach is much further than just in Black Panther or, Avengers type movies. But yeah, that will also open up for another Black actor to come in and be able to, take that mantle. But I feel sorry, honestly, for anyone that tries to come in and replace Chadwick Boseman, because no one's going to love him. No one's going to love him because
There's going to be hate.
No one can compare to Chadwick Boseman in that.
I don't think anybody would hate that person as much as they hate Brie Larson, though. So they got that going for
Or
them.
Wyatt Russell.
Yeah. Oh man,
Dude, I love Wyatt Russell. I just hate the character. Like, I think people literally don't like Brie Larson.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
So,
Because I've heard,
because I think she did a great job.
I
you can
like
see
Captain
the tension
Marvel.
in the group interviews. You can see there's something there.
Yeah.
well, they've all pretty much come out and said in one way or another they hated working with her.
Yeah.
For one reason or another. And I've never read anything like definite, this is why we don't like her.
Right.
It's just that they don't.
Yeah. Like there's something that's
I
rubbing
think
them the
Samuel
wrong
L.
way.
Jackson's the only person I haven't heard say anything.
Which you think he would.
Right.
He stays pretty like
Professional
about things. Like he's another one. Like you don't get a whole lot of controversy. Like somebody that you would just the way he portrays himself, not only on screen but in interviews and things. That like there's gonna be he stays pretty level. Like you don't.
Well, because I feel like he's just one of those guys that he knows how lucky or feels how lucky he is because he started as that bit character at a later age.
Yeah.
Because I remember him as the bit character in
Jurassic Park.
Well, that
Coming
then
to
there was
America?
the mafia movie with it's one of my favorite movies. I can't remember the name. It's got
Hitman's Bodyguard?
old school.
that was
old.
much later.
Goodfellas.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
that's one of the first things I remember seeing him in.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So, but anyway, but going back to your question about Black Panther, I think Shuri probably takes it on for a little bit, and I think because the tension in the first Black Panther between her and M'Baku, I think that spurs him to become the villain, Man-Ape, potentially. But I still don't think that's a big enough villain. But then you also have Nakia going rogue and turning bad, like she did in the comics for that time.
Right.
And I think it could be the loss of T'Challa pushes her over the edge. Because I don't think there's anything, if they went that route, I don't think you could ever convince me if he was still alive in the movies that she would ever turn on him.
Right.
So I think she's in her mind's going to get it. This is what's good for the best for Wakanda. Maybe sided with M'Baku. And then there's something overall, which is why I hate they took out Andy Serkis's character.
So that was ridiculous how fast they took him out. Because
Right.
Claw is a great character.
Oh yeah.
Classic character. So
And I've heard they talked about bringing Killmonger back. I just don't know how you do that one.
I don't know either.
I've seen that a lot.
There was just
the,
too much emphasis on how that all went down, and that's what made the end of that movie and
Right.
made his redemption arc there at the end, kind of.
What do you think?
The only,
What do you think Bucky's involvement will be? Because there was a lot of setup.
with White Wolf?
Yes, there was a lot of setup in this last show.
I bet he'll go
I
back
don't
with
know. I
with
think it'll be minimal because they put that emphasis on you need to stay clear for a
Clear.
while.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll be that coming in saving grace to set up the next movie or whatever. He comes in with somebody, whoever the next movie is, to
Well, yeah, I don't,
their
like
lead in, their tie into Wakanda.
And
I don't think he'll be big in the next one. I think like what you're saying, that's the setup to stay clear, but he can't. Like, he's drawn somehow.
Well, and I don't think that they want to make the mistake that the white guy's going to come in and save the day in an all-black movie.
Yeah, the white savior.
They don't want to do that.
Yeah, because they did a really good job with Martin Freeman's character, taking direction,
Yes.
and being there and being an asset, not the hero.
Well,
Don't
and
sneak up on me like a colonizer.
so I don't know. There's a lot of different directions I think that they could go, especially since they announced Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Since that's going to hit, is that before or after Wakanda Forever?
It'll be before, because it's like 4 movies away.
3 or 4. Yeah. I'm wondering if they're going to pull from that, because they said this. Okay, so they said Multiverse of Madness is supposed to be a horror movie. They've hinted that Shuma Gorath is supposed to be the big bad in that. So there's our cosmic, there's our mystic cosmic. I'm wondering if one of these multiverses there's going to be another version of a panther.
And it's gonna be Killmonger. Maybe that's how they do it.
Maybe that's how they do it.
Yeah.
BRob read where I was going with that.
Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, no, that's fine. That's what I want you guys to do. But that's kind of just what I'm thinking right now.
That's a good one. I didn't think about that.
And they also have, this is a definite. They also have a super smart black girl that's getting ready to make her appearance this year. Riri Williams, or is Ironheart? Ironheart. She's supposed to be making her appearance along with the rest of the Young Avengers.
That'd be awesome.
And I'm super pumped. So I'm wondering if she might be taking the Tony place. I mean, Wakanda with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Wakanda's become, the new Stark, basically, Stark Tech. But I'm wondering if this is how they're going to make like a Iron Man protege almost come into, or like Avengers. What is that going to be, 4? 5?
I just hate when they start down that road and then they stop. Like you didn't, was it Iron Man 3? I can never remember the young boy's name that had the lab.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And then you see him at the funeral. And then that's like, it was just, I
there.
hate when they start down a road and then it just kind of stops and they give you this closure that you never really feel like you needed. But
Well, I kind of wonder, like with that, especially that's the example. That's a good example too. Is I don't think they ever, especially like smaller parts like that. That Iron Man 3, it wasn't a small part, but in the grand scheme of things, it was a smaller part. That they ever completely cut it off. They leave just enough to where, they get several movies down the road and like we need to pull something here, or something that'll really, get people in the fields or strike the fire, and they could pull him again if they needed to. Like they leave just enough to where they have some ammo in the clip.
Yeah.
They need to pull something.
Makes it easier to retcon things.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it was actually this person. It's like,
Bum, bum, bum.
Man, they're so smart.
They're so smart.
He was hidden in the closet the whole time.
You really meant for this to be episode 4 the entire time. Okay, I got it. Yeah. So
Chris, as someone that's been hidden in a closet for most of his life,
Right.
what's that like?
Liberating.
Okay, good. I support you.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
tiny closets in this house.
There's many. This is a many closeted house.
I found 4.
Most of the skeletons.
While we're on that subject, like any other celebrity deaths, I think that's especially.
This year.
There were a lot. I was going through the list. We lost Sean Connery,
Cloris Leachman.
If we're going back to the beginning of 2020 up until now, which
we are, because this is
May 2021. But we lost Sean Connery, we lost Kobe, we lost. Who else did we lose? Wilford Brimley. I forgot we lost Wilford Brimley.
Oh, I did too.
He died of diabetes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Nobody saw that coming. I'm not even going to do the sound effect. Okay. I feel slightly bad for that joke. Not terribly. I'm going through the list.
Carrie Fisher's mom.
We lost Kirk Douglas.
What's her name? Why can't I think of her name right now?
Why can't you?
I don't know. Didn't we lose her this year? Or in 2020?
I think. Well, yeah.
Debbie Reynolds?
Yeah, it's Debbie Reynolds.
Debbie Reynolds. We're all on our phones right now looking. If
Yeah.
you guys didn't know.
Not in my normal setup with
So
extra
while they're
screens.
looking right here, I'm going to explain
stuff.
a little bit more why we're doing this State of the Nerd.
Okay.
It's to look back at the past year, and I thought it'd be a great idea to have all four of us in the room so we could. The pooled knowledge is just amazing that's in here. If you guys say this outside the room, I'll tell everyone you're fucking liars.
I can clip this.
But number 2, we had a little thing called COVID-19 happen. And everything shut down. The world literally shut down. So there wasn't a lot of new TV. We were supposed to have Black Widow a year ago. We were supposed to have Eternals a year ago. We were supposed to have all this other stuff. John Wick 4 was supposed to be released this month.
And we saw the Warner Brothers pull from movies from the theater and put them into HBO Max, and we saw streaming really jump out.
Yeah.
So much original content. I mean, Netflix killed it with original content.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, a lot of people did, but
which I thought
Apple
was great.
TV.
Yeah, Apple TV.
Well, the entertainment
who would've
industry,
thought
like
that?
the at-home entertainment industry really stepped up. I mean, of course, there was a reason, like, they were going to make money off of it. Like, okay, everybody's stuck at home. We have to capitalize on it. We benefited from it, right? I mean, Disney Plus really took off. Like BRob saying, the original content on Netflix. Everybody's, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are home a lot more. Even if they're not working from home, they're not going out as much. So they're kind of falling into the lifestyle that I was already living, which means I benefited because, these companies want to make money off of that. So yeah, all the original content, like, there's been so much stuff come out that I haven't even got to dip my toe into yet. Not counting the homework that Chris has been giving me, which I've been failing at. But yeah, like, we benefited as consumers of media. And in reality, like, for not much cost, I mean, you think about the cost of adding on, HBO Max, or keeping your Netflix, or adding Disney Plus to your streaming package or whatever, like, it's minimal. And so, like, we've got a really good bang for our buck with this pandemic.
Yeah. I mean, we cut Dish Network that we had for ever in a day, went to YouTube TV and got all of it, kept all of our streaming, and we still saved $25 a month. And we have HBO, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Disney Plus.
I had Dish since like 2004. Whenever I got out of the dorms in college, I had Dish, and I had Dish all the way up until about 2 years ago. So, and I realized, like, I'm not watching that much live TV. I don't watch sports like I used to at all. So that would have been the big reason to keep some of those things. Well, sports would have been the only thing in local weather. But
that's why I went with YouTube TV, because you get all your local channels, unlimited cloud DVR, and there's a great sports deal.
You're the guy that clicked OK on the pop-up that came up that 95% was like, no, I don't want. Why keep asking me YouTube?
Skip trial.
Yeah, skip trial. BRob actually took the trial.
And Every Man's Guide to Nerdom is now sponsored by YouTube TV. So,
that would be awesome.
Yeah. The king of the nerds, Alex Trebek.
Oh.
Another one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
One that hit me hard. When you guys were talking about, like, you were talking about one that hit you hard. Celebrity deaths usually don't. Like, the last one I can think of that actually kind of got me, and it was, I don't know why it got me, but it did, was Ryan Dunn, like, way back when. I don't know why, but that one hit me. I don't know if it's because I just grew up watching Jackass and all that. But the one that got me probably this year more than any of them, like more than Sean Connery, more than Kobe, more than anything, was Grant Imahara. Like, I loved Mythbusters. I would watch Mythbusters over and over and over again. And hearing about Grant just, that hit me hard.
Yeah.
I was looking who else we lost this year. Hank Aaron.
Joe Morgan. There's a lot of baseball players.
There's a lot of baseball players. Well, they're
a bunch.
all old.
Regis Philbin was another one that we lost this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot about Regis.
But that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and that's the two that like hit me the most, other than Chadwick. Were I'm not a Kobe fan.
Right.
I appreciate Kobe because of the athlete in me. But I was just never a fan of how he was kind of portrayed, and he portrayed himself in the media. But that one surprisingly kind of hit me hard. And then Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't know.
RBG.
Maybe it's because I have a daughter now. Maybe I don't know. But when I was really sitting down on a plane and I started reading more about her, and I'm just like, wow,
she's the champion
wow.
of the little man.
Wow. And I always knew that, but I just don't think it didn't resonate as much until, unfortunately, like a lot of the great ones, a lot of stuff doesn't resonate until after the fact.
They died.
The movie that came out about her a couple years ago was
Notorious RBG.
No, the documentary was good, but the actual movie with Felicia.
I need to find it. And
it's on the tip of my tongue.
Felicia Day. Felicia.
No. She was in Rogue One.
Felicity Jones.
Felicity Jones. Thank you.
There we go.
So Felicity Jones plays RBG.
Really?
And
I didn't know that.
It's really good. You should watch
I've
it.
seen that one. What you're talking
Yeah.
about.
It's really good. It came out a couple years ago. Yeah, that was one that, you know, try not to be overly political or try not to be this or that. It's just, you know, a huge loss for our country.
Right.
No matter what side you vote on and all of that. So, yeah.
And that gets lost so much. It's just, this is a huge blow to the Republicans, or this is a huge blow to fans of the LA Lakers. No, it's a huge blow to humanity and who we should strive to be.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Amen. Hal Holbrook, he was Deep Throat in All the President's Men. You guys he's one of those that you know his face.
He's a character actor.
Yeah, but you don't know
Oh
him.
yeah,
See?
he was.
He's a lawyer in a lot of things.
Yeah, he played a lot of country lawyers.
Yeah. Charlie Pride, Charlie Daniels.
Yeah.
Little Richard,
Cicely Tyson.
Neil Peart. Neil Peart was. That one kind of got me a little bit because, oddly, I'm a metalhead rock guy, whatever, but I didn't start listening to Rush until about 2 years ago. A whole bunch was like, I'm not going to listen. Everybody listens to Rush. I'm not going to do that. And the idea is like, oh, this is awesome. And then, that.
So you're the reason.
Jerry Stiller.
I need to stop.
Jerry Stiller, yes.
I need to stop finding new people that I like because then they die.
That one hit me really hard because of, honestly, Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
Serenity now.
Right.
I've got a problem with all of you.
And you're going to hear about it.
Kenny Rogers. I forgot about Kenny Rogers.
I did too. That just Christopher Plummer.
Fred Willard.
Yeah.
Fred Willard.
Fred Willard,
that
yes.
was a big one. Love him or hate him, Larry Flint. Champion of free speech.
Yeah.
DMX.
X ain't going to give it to you anymore.
No, he's not going to give it. George Segal.
Oh, yeah.
So I loved watching him as Pops on the Goldbergs. And then I loved him on, it wasn't News Radio. What was the show he was on? With Mina.
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it News Radio?
I think it was News
with
Radio.
Dave Foley?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he played, the
love that
incompetent
boss.
boss. And, because I'm always going to remember the intern Kenny. He's like, hi, Nina, may I pleasure you now? And, hi, I'm Kenny. I'm super excited to be here. I love that guy. He's like, I am the spawn of the devil.
I did like DMX, but David Stern, former NBA commissioner, was a big one for me too, because without him, you don't have the Dream Team in '92. He was such a large proponent in getting professionals back into the Olympics. Just my era of basketball,
which was the best era of basketball.
Jordan, Magic. I mean, all the
Titus.
things. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't happen. If there's somebody else as the commissioner, does Magic get to continue playing?
Right.
True.
Yeah,
So
I remember I got to he was in Hawaii. David Robinson was there.
he was always one of my favorites.
And I loved him because he was an academy graduate, and my dad,
the Admiral.
Academy, yeah, and he was always there. And I got to try on one of his shoes, and I was probably 9 at the time, and I swear to God, it was a moo-moo.
I was going to say, you could probably fit your whole body into one of his shoes.
Oh, comfortably.
So like a little cocoon.
It was, but yeah, it was just
so cozy in here.
No, and he was one that did so much for the San Antonio community, so much for the game as a spokesman,
just as an
and then
ambassador.
just the people that he is like, Tim Duncan thanked him in his Hall of Fame speech there, and I was like, I was a great player, but would I have been a great person? Continue to be a great person without this person in my life.
God, that's so hard to hear. Thinking like Duncan doing his speech, that makes me feel old because I remember the Duncan transition, and like he's still kind of young in my head, but he's older than us. But yeah, I feel old. Okay.
Swinging back to BRob's original question, do you feel that we adequately answered that? Do you want to go any more in depth on it?
I don't remember what the
With Chadwick.
Oh yeah, no, I think
And
we
its impact on
definitely-
society.
And this is what I wanted to happen out of it, but I mean, I think we really talked about him and his impact on everything as a whole. But and then I was hoping it would segue into other people that we felt
Like normal.
yeah,
So-
normal.
Thank you for bringing that
I've
up.
gotten to where I can kind of like I think this is where it's probably going to go.
Yeah.
So I throw this out there.
We'll just give him a little wiggle out there and see if they bite. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I do want to give a shout out to Hughes in our chat too, who's one of Justin's students. He's always real good about starting discussion too.
Yeah,
So thank you, Hughes. I know he gets thrilled whenever we mention him.
yeah.
Except when it's about wrestling.
Hey, me and Hughes had some great side conversations about
Oh, wrestling.
wrestling. Yeah,
Which I'm excited to do a wrestling episode. I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to do one about classic, and I want to do one about like attitude error, all that
yeah.
stuff.
And there's not a whole lot of people with the way that I think that can kind of change my mind on certain
Mhm.
things, specifically like professional wrestling. And he had some really good points about when we were just talking about matches and, and this person and, their impact on.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I was like, actually, I see that.
That's
So,
cool.
Some good guys for some wrestling episodes too.
So, something really cool for you wrestling fans. I've been following on Twitch. This guy does classic, all the classic matches and TV shows, like from front to end. Like he's in 1998 right now, and he'll play them every night. Like he'll either play like WWE or WCW, like the entire episode.
Oh wow.
And like Jericho came out with, was it Rufus?
Ralphus.
That's right. With Ralphus, and when he called JJ Dillon, JoJo Dillon, and
That
Ron.
was the Goldberg feud.
Yeah, it was, and
Yeah.
Ron Mysterio Jr. But Disco Inferno came out. Like all these, it's back when the WCW roster had like 8,000 people in it,
Right.
and like everyone came out and they go, and Chris Dunkelhoff, and he'd come out to like his music and then just get demolished in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this guy plays it every night for anyone who's interested.
It's such a good
kinda cool.
era. I think that's when I stopped was like 01, 02 was roughly when I stopped watching.
I just feel
wrestling.
like that's the prime example of how unhealthy it is in anything to not have competition.
Yeah.
And now with AEW, I think they're starting to be more because you have all these just true wrestle like the Rhodeses, people who just love wrestling.
How long
and
has that
storytelling.
gap been though? Like with like 20 years
I mean,
without any real competition.
the final Nitro was 02.
Was that when they merged?
I thought that's
Spring
when
of 02.
when they bought out. Yeah.
Give
I
or
think-
take.
I
Spring
mean,
of 02.
The merger was kind of happening before that because that's when you slowly
It was
started
happening
seeing.
for years.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
The
And then you had
official.
just a lot of the big stars. They were getting paid to sit on their butts because of the way their contracts were written. So that's why you didn't get Big Papa
Easy.
Pump at first. You didn't get Goldberg. You didn't get Sting. But then you had the guys who just wanted to go, like Booker T,
Mhm.
Buff Bagwell, for what that was worth.
Mhm.
Guys like that were just immediately came over because they just wanted to go.
Right.
They wanted to increase their popularity. These older guys are like,
I'm gonna
made
draw my check.
dime.
I'm
just
gonna Bobby Bonilla my way out of here.
Well,
Right.
you let,
Great
then
reference.
they
Thank you.
started letting Hall and Nash write
And he's
the
just skipping
episodes.
over. You know who Bobby Bonilla is?
Yes, baseball.
Do you know the contract reference? Like I
do
knew
not
B
know
Rob
the
would love that.
contract. I do not know the contract reference.
B-Rob, explain
He's
the
gonna be
contract.
Getting paid until like 2042 or some shit because of the way the contract. He could either take a little bit over extended period of
Right.
time, and a little bit is still a whole lot of money.
More
It's like
than
$2
we
million
make.
a
Take
year,
mine,
right?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
It is the worst contract in the history of any sport,
Unless you're Bobby Bonilla.
unless you're Bobby Bonilla.
It's great for him then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look it up, dude. You'll love that.
I know he's baseball.
Yeah, you should look at that. Just the numbers. You'll just be like,
I'm gonna have to look at
oh
that.
my god.
It totally didn't cripple Pittsburgh at all because
Oh,
No, they're fine.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
been perennial, world champs
Right.
since.
Right.
Oh man. Who did? Okay, so we talked about dead people. We've talked
Go
about.
back up, go back up. This is the next one I want to hit that I think is kind of important because
I'm
it's
scrolling. I've got things touching things over here.
What?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Will you stay on your side of the table, B Rob?
Okay. I want to talk about the movies.
Okay. So you want me to just read them off and then we can kind of hit.
Yeah.
What we
and
watch? Okay.
What it is? And these are COVID affected movies. We were
Oh,
supposed to
okay.
have all these movies that were going to be big releases in the theaters,
Mhm.
and then COVID hit, and they found alternate sources for release, like HBO Max. Or oh, by the way, I read a really interesting article on HBO Max. They said the reason that HBO Max has sold from AT&T was because the guy who made this decision to do all the WB movies on HBO Max instead of theaters. They said that was kind of the linchpin.
Oh wow.
I thought it was a great decision, personally.
Well, for us, it was a
For
great
us,
decision.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
For them, it was probably
they
terrible.
I guess WB's not happy. And this article
So
came
this
out.
was a WB guy or HBO guy?
AT&T guy.
Oh,
AT&T
AT&T,
guy.
okay.
Yeah, AT&T.
Ah.
Gotcha.
But the article just came out yesterday, but it's really interesting. It's worth a read just to delve into it because they're saying he fucked up. But it's like, from my point of view, he did great.
Yeah.
Might be worth a Google.
Well, and
Google or link it in the Discord, Chris.
I could do that.
Yeah.
that Chris Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, a bunch of people came out and said this is awful, awful. And in fact, Denis Villeneuve said that the Dune sequel probably won't happen now because it's not being released in theaters.
Now it is, though.
It is now.
But they
Yeah,
just
He won.
reversed it. Yeah. And
I mean,
now
theaters are
it's-
opening back up now,
it's
so
only going to be released in the theaters. So
Well,
come on,
they
AMC
said
stock.
45-day window. They said it's still going to be released on HBO Max 45 days after the theater.
oh, okay.
So, because they're not dumb, they also know where they make a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. My concern is since I have AT&T phones, does that mean I'm not going to get free HBO Max anymore?
I think so.
Probably.
Because when I signed the contract, it said HBO for life. And so I didn't see any small asterisks on there that said,
They could change the name of it.
as long as we own it, or something like that. So
They'll change like one streaming service to be named HBO for life, and it's just going to be The Sopranos on repeat.
I'd watch it.
I mean, Disney is with this Premier Access. I mean, I know there's so many people that say I'm not going to pay that.
I did for one.
I pay for every one that comes out. We did it for Mulan. We did it for Raya.
Uh huh.
We're going to do it for Cruella.
Yes. Oh, that movie looks so good.
We'll do it. I mean, it's fresh content. I do miss going. We still go to the theaters, but it's just my kids can watch it. I mean, like I said, my daughter's watched Raya a gajillion times in her little Raya outfit because it's so easy.
Right. And I just got the Steelbook that came out on Tuesday. I own it on digital already. I bought it on Disney Plus. Then I bought it on Vudu. Now I just bought the Steelbook. I spent $100 on this damn movie.
Yeah, I just bought the digital too.
It's because it's an amazing movie, and we're gonna go over that too. All right, Kyle, let's go.
Okay, so I'll run through the list really quick so you guys know what we have listed for the COVID-affected movies, and then we can just kind of hit and go. We have Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, Raid and the Last Dragon, Soul, Mulan live action, Tom and Jerry, Quiet Place Part 2, The New Mutants, Peter Rabbit 2, Trolls World Tour, Black Widow, Wonder Woman 84, Scoob, Artemis Fowl, King of State Island,
It's
Bob's.
supposed to be Staten.
I can't help your typos, Chris.
I know I can't. I can't help my typos.
King of Staten Island. Is that the
Pete Davidson movie?
Yes. Bob's Burger, the movie, Forever Purge, Jungle Cruise, The One and Only Ivan, and The Witches. So these are everything that Chris did pick because give him a little shout out here because he's not getting the recognition for it. Chris does our outlines for every episode that we sort of follow, kind of. Sort of. It pulls us. This is our anchor. It pulls us back when we get really far down rabbit holes, which happens on average like 7 times an episode. So
This is why we don't have a set script.
Yeah.
It's because we know we go down these rabbit holes, but these are the most fun to me because we have, I think, the most meaningful conversations when we do that.
And most of these movies are out. Some of them have not come out.
Yeah. So, Godzilla versus Kong. I was super excited about this one, and some people didn't like it. I was not disappointed by it. I really enjoyed it for what it was. It's a monster movie.
Yeah, it's a popcorn monster movie.
I was reading someone bitching about, might have been on Reddit, saying that, the actors were secondary. And, I can't believe that they need to hire new actors because they weren't good. And Millie Bobby Brown didn't do a good job, which I thought she did great in it. And Russell from Deadpool, too. And then I'm like, you watch the movies for the people?
it's a Godzilla movie.
It's a Godzilla movie. No
They
one
need to
watches
be
it.
able to be eaten at any time.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I mean, did you guys all watch it?
Mhm.
Did you enjoy it for what it was, not going and expecting? Like,
I mean, I just enjoyed it. Period. I mean, I think a lot of the times, like the older monster movies, it was enjoy it for what it is. But I mean, I enjoyed Millie Bobby Brown. I enjoyed.
I did too.
Can never remember his name either.
I call him
from,
Russell.
Yeah, from
Just call him
Jojo
Russell.
Rabbit and
Yep.
Deadpool 2.
Prison Wallet.
I think it would have been better if, because you can see that they're definitely trying to create a Marvel like MCU with this, so they had to make it connect to the former Godzilla and make it connect to the King Kongs.
Doesn't Marvel have some interest in certain Godzilla properties?
They own Godzilla.
They own Godzilla. Okay.
Yeah, and so I think
The rights to the graphic,
graphic novel.
Okay.
graphic
Comics.
and comics. Yeah.
But I think it would have been better as just a standalone popcorn monster and not necessarily, oh, we got to spend 15 minutes talking about this plot point that was in 2 other movies. And so it can't come into it just fresh and be like, this is awesome, eat people.
You have to watch the other 2.
I understand, why they would do that. But at the same time, I personally would have preferred, but this still didn't take away from the fun aspect of the movie.
Just seeing
All of that.
Mechagodzilla.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
was
that
awesome.
that version of Mechagodzilla was awesome.
Yeah.
And I really liked what they did because the early 90s reiteration, they created Mechagodzilla from the bones of 54's Godzilla. That's how they brought that back. And I liked the fresh take on this. I just thought they did a good job.
Right.
All in all.
And my coach was in it. My coach from Friday Night Lights. So.
That's right.
I started I started this Godzilla 3 times because my son is super into Godzilla. And like 2 times he fell asleep. The 3rd time he's like, I've already seen this. I'm like, when did you watch it? And so I guess I'm just going to have to watch it by myself because he's not going to watch it. Like I've been saving that because I wanted that experience with the kiddo.
Right.
Kind of same thing with Mortal Kombat. I was wanting to go watch that in theaters. It was playing pretty close to where I live. Like, we're not all blessed to be in a great metro area like you 3. And so it's a little travel and like some coordination to find. What did he say? Choices. Yeah, I know. We can do a whole episode about terrible choices that Kyle has made. But like Mortal Kombat, I was wanting to go watch that in theaters. Like I had some friends lined up, like we'll go watch it in theater together, blah, blah, and that all fell out. And so now I'm just like, I missed it. And like, I really wanted to watch it in theaters.
It was, I think today's the last day, or maybe it was yesterday. I mean, like,
Don't tell me it was yesterday. Don't do that to me.
I was watching something on HBO Max and it said just 2 days left. And
For Mortal Kombat?
yeah, I want to say that was like yesterday. So definitely check it out.
Dang it.
I'm going to have to.
Did I miss it?
I loved it.
I did too.
I hope I didn't
was-
miss it. Just
'cause
talk amongst
my
yourself.
wife
I want to sit here and
doesn't-
get sad.
She doesn't really like gory and all of that, so I was watching by myself, and she was in the back room working on something, so I had my earbuds in and watching it, and like 3 or 4 times she came out, and she was like, "What are you laughing?" Because it was not the laugh like,
Kano
like
wins.
this is stupid laugh. It was, oh
The
my
head
god,
rolls.
that is so amazing! Laugh.
Right.
Especially when spines were taken out and all that stuff. So
Streaming until May 23rd. Okay, so that's tonight. Tomorrow.
There you
Okay, I still have time.
you're welcome.
So I watched
Thank
it at home and in the theater, and
Which was better?
the theater.
Theater.
Theater's
Yeah,
always
I think
better.
the theater's almost always better, but yeah, no, it was awesome. I enjoyed it, but my wife sat down and watched it with me. But at the end, she's like, "If it wasn't for Kano, this movie would suck." But I was like, and she's kind of a gamer. I mean, she played.
Right.
She was a big Halo person, and she does all that stuff. But so she played the game because I mean, it's a part of our our childhood.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Because I remember like,
100%.
oh, my parents gonna buy this game for me, and this one I'm gonna have to find a bootleg copy and hide it every time somebody comes to clean my room. But no, I love the movie. I thought they did it better than it's ever been done before, with a couple of just like character things, like Liu Kang. That kind of bothered me, but I can live with it.
You're right.
With the rest of the fatalities and just Kano himself.
So what bothered you about Liu Kang?
That it just wasn't. He wasn't the central guy. I'm used to him being the central guy because he is. I mean, he's.
Comics,
Yeah.
games, everything.
So I can appreciate what they were trying to do, and I love the tie-in to Sub-Zero and Scorpion and then Cole. But the new, I mean, just making a character, I like that. That doesn't bother me because every game there was a new character created. So that's kind of how I look at that. But yeah, I mean, I was very happy with it with that probably one exception in the Liu Kang character that he wasn't a big focus.
Right.
When Jax has more of a backstory than Liu Kang, I think I kind of have an issue. And then there was no backstory for Raiden.
No.
So there's the other one that. So those might have been the only two, but I could, with how they did it and how they did Melina, and I mean, I was very happy.
And then they had like the littler known characters like the vampire.
See, so her and there was one other character that the general. I wasn't familiar with either of those two characters.
She was in like that Mortal Kombat like RPG almost like game that they did. It was like a one-off, and she was a character from there, and that's where she was from. And hardly anyone, that's exactly it, and hardly anyone played that game.
Right.
That's why
I didn't even know it existed. I'm interested.
I appreciate it, though, that they're drawing from all aspects.
Right.
So.
And I think the big thing to take away from that is BRob had someone clean his room for him. So he was the Ricky Schroeder Silver Spoons riding in on a train.
No, it was more come in behind me, tell me what I did wrong.
Go on.
3 or 4 times because I never did it right.
Right.
And then switch my TV in my room to like every time I turn on my TV, the Christian network was on or whatever because everybody felt like I needed
Good old
Jesus.
TBN. I know
Right.
that.
Up on Melody Mountain was always playing.
What's our next one?
So we had Godzilla, Kong, Mortal Kombat, Raiden the Last Dragon. So from
I'm
this
excited about this one.
and around the table, one of us had a comment about this movie that really, like, I was going to watch it anyway. It's like it was going to happen. But when BRob said, this is the movie that we need as a society right now.
It's the movie we needed.
This and Ted Lasso. That was my comment.
Oh,
Ted Lasso and Ryan Last Dragon are the two things the world needs right now.
Yeah.
favorite show of 2020 was Ted Lasso.
Agreed.
Hands down.
Agreed.
Was it
Hands
that good?
down.
Okay.
Yes.
It
so
was
my
so
sister
good.
told me
Don't
this.
be a goldfish. That's not the line, but I'm telling you, don't be a goldfish. Go watch the movie and remember everything about it.
The even if you don't know soccer,
I hate soccer.
and so I'm on the other side. I follow soccer religiously and played it my whole life. So I liked that part of it, and it's true enough to the game that it's, you know, you can enjoy that aspect of it, but you don't have to know anything about soccer to like it. There's some inside jokes, you know. At one point, he's coaching on the sidelines, and a player gets called offsides, and he runs down and yells at the ref, "Why is that offsides?" And the referee just kind of looks at me and goes, "No, really, why is it offsides? I don't know what that is." And so, I mean, just small jokes like that. That's like, oh, that's really funny. But yeah, you totally have to watch Ted Lasso.
It's just great.
But Riot, you nailed it. I mean, both of those, I think that's the tone that after 2020 and 2021, how we started, that's the tone I think that more media needs to have.
Yeah.
Because I think we're just tired. We're tired of everything going on, and we just need
Tired of everything negative.
Yeah.
So much negativity.
That's why I loved Soul
Man.
too. Soul was so good.
Oh yeah, right. Soul was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
It took me a couple watches because me and the kids both at first for Soul were like, and then next day the kids were like, let's watch it again. I was like, really? And then I'm like, okay, I can get on board with this.
Yeah.
And then
Originally, I was like, you know what? You are not going to sell me on jazz Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, you can take your La La Land, you can take your Whiplash, you can take all of, you know, everything jazz. I'm not going to buy it.
Yes.
But then once it started getting into, you know, what am I going to be? What makes me who I am, and really gets into some existential shit. It's awesome.
it's deep.
And it's like, this is for
it's way
kids?
deeper than you thought it was going to be.
This is for kids? Come on.
Right.
God, I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I agree. Aquafina in that movie was like, she's amazing, and now she's about to become MCU staple. She's about to be canon in MCU with Master of Kung Fu, Shang-Chi. She was great in it, and then my favorite part of this whole movie is the redemption of Kelly Marie Tran. after she got all the, I liked her as Rose. I really did.
I did too.
I thought she was completely underused.
Especially in the third one, she got
punked.
Yeah, JJ just.
But I really like how they gave her redemption, and her character was just so relatable. Like she was going to do anything to restore her dad, her people. It was a good family thing. Like I really liked the movie.
What was the redemption?
The redemption for her?
The character of Kelly Marie.
Just Kelly
Marie.
Okay, sorry. I was like,
no, not right. Of Kelly Marie Trainor, because
I was like, obviously, my comment didn't hit home enough for you to know who the hell the character is. Okay.
But yeah, she got
Gotcha.
so much.
No, Ariel was great in that one. When she put the Glad and Gladiator, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, she got so much hate from Star Wars fans and had to delete her social media and everything else. And it was
bullshit.
Partly because she was a female, partly because she was Asian, partly because of
character.
just everything else in the character. Yeah. And
Star Wars fans are just assholes. Wearing their shirts.
Yes.
Chris
and I are both wearing our Star Wars shirts right now.
Which one are you wearing?
Just whatever was clean this morning.
Kind of that whole. So that's why he's shirtless right now.
It says "I'm a dirty girl" on it for those who are watching this.
Here. He's just wearing a couple of pasties.
Shaved it.
Yeah, he has a couple of pasties and that's it. But going back to that keyboard warrior thing, there's this sense of anonymity that hey, I can be as shitty as I want and there's no repercussions. And they don't think about that person on the other side. They don't think about, and she was great, I think, in Star Wars, especially the second of the post trilogy. And for her and Raya to come out to be cast as the lead is a huge redemption, but then also for it to be such a good story and her story within that. I mean, I really hope she takes off, and I'm a little partial to Asian American women, but because my
and Chris,
and me,
I'm
a little Asian woman.
Yeah, not a fetish thing, but because my wife.
Chris is a beautiful little Asian woman.
I'm a pretty girl.
Yeah, he had to grow out a beard.
This is my beard. I don't know. It's my.
Is that your real? I thought that was just like an Amish beard that like you bought at Walmart.
My mom was telling everyone I was Amish.
That's funny.
Did you? I never heard the story.
For the listeners, picture if Larry Bird tried to grow a beard. That's what this would be, only dark.
And it's not. It's got like ginger in it. Larry Bird with a beard.
Oh my
You're not wrong.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, his mustache was bad enough when he had one. When Bird had the mustache.
The pedo stash.
The milk mustache. But yeah, I definitely think Raya is a great comeback story for her, and I hope it just springboard into more opportunities.
Yeah, and it's just like you said, it's a great story. It's a great empowerment for young girls. I think the only thing is just that same old Disney story of no mother. Like maybe a handful of Disney princesses actually have a mom, and so it's just there's always some tragedy to some of the characters. And they didn't play on it this time at all, and that's what I think made it what it was and so different. And that story of hope, and not only to get her father back, but to get the world back.
You pair that with Mulan and how fierce she was throughout, and it's a Asian female centered story that is all about her coming from building within her own and finding the strength within herself to lead and help this country and all of that. And I really like where Disney's going with a lot of this. I really do.
Right. I mean, yeah, they're just bringing so many different cultures in. You're seeing so many different people of color in great acting parts. I was thinking about this on the way over too. The last time I could really remember a movie that had different people of different backgrounds and heritages is X-Men Days of Future Past, when you had Sunspot, Blink, Nighthawk. No, what's his name? The Native American, Boo Boo Stewart's character.
If you wouldn't have said it, I could have told you. Right. If you wouldn't have said anything, I could have told you right off the bat.
Thunderbird?
No, Thunderbird was his brother. It was God bless him.
But anyway, so I was thinking about that on the way over here.
He was on X-Force.
So that's the last time I could really remember them starting to get more people together. And then they were just bit characters, but that was kind of a start. And then now we're seeing, 10 years later? that you see all these, and even with Coco,
Warpath.
Warpath.
So you've got Moana, you got Coco, you've got Soul, you've got Luca, the new one that's coming out. I mean, they're almost seem like they are trying to make sure it's not just white, female Disney princess, and that's. But we want to reach out because representation is so important, so important.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that they're doing that. Coco was amazing.
Coco was great.
Well, yeah, because you look back and you think about, I think about Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, when all the princes are there. It's all the white girls, and then Moana and Tiana.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that's really important for everybody to have somebody that they can look up to that looks like him. Oh, Pocahontas. So
Pocahontas. There's 3.
Yeah. Oh, Mulan.
4.
Yeah. So.
But is Mulan actually? She's not actually considered a Disney princess, though, is she?
I think they're all considered. She has an animal. What would she say? Animal companion.
Animal companion. Because for the longest time, that was a debate with her.
Yeah.
So.
Like if she was or she wasn't.
Yeah.
But now Princess Leia is a Disney princess, so,
which is awesome.
Right.
I really want them to go back and show. I think Coda might have brought this up last episode. I really want them to go back and show the cutscenes that they filmed with Leia and Rose that they did, because they filmed like apparently 30 minutes worth of content of them interacting. Not interacting, but
and Abrams said that that's one reason why he kept her back with in Rose. I say Rose. I'm going to call her Rose. But that's what in interviews. That's what she said, that she was okay with it is because they had filmed so much that she was almost the right hand person to Leia and being able to keep everything going in the background. So yeah, I really like the idea that it wasn't necessarily just J.J. Abrams saying, "Oh, Kelly Marie Tran, let's get rid of her," but this idea that we have so much filmed with Princess Leia, and so that's where we're going to keep her. We're going to keep her back and do that. I can understand that.
Something I kind of want to hit on, a little off track because that's the norm. But we talked about like Raya being like the movie that we really needed for 2020. I think we got hit with 2 movies at least. I mean, I can think of one more. I don't know if you guys seen Mitchell's versus the Machines yet. If you got kids, you've probably seen it.
I watched it for the 16th time this morning before I came over here.
Such a good movie.
So good.
So good. Like I didn't go into it, and that's one of the Netflix originals. We talked about that. Like they're putting out such good content, and that's a theater release worthy movie.
Oh, yeah.
And you get to watch it at home.
Yeah.
For no additional money than what you're already paying out right now.
It's the minds behind Into the Spider-Verse and Lego.
Oh,
I guessed that. I didn't about the Spider-Verse. I didn't know that for sure, but you can tell from the animation. And, yeah.
And so seeing that, I was like, I don't know what this movie is, but I am gonna love it. Because both of those movies were my favorites of that year.
Well, because I'm not very good at thinking for myself. I just saw that it was trending, and that's why I watched it. I figured the kids would want to watch it. I like the animation style from it because it was like cell shady. I guess you could say like it had that cell shade art style. Like if you ever played Borderlands,
Oh yeah,
it has that art style. There was a game we were playing last night called Home Sweet Home Survival that had that kind of cell shaded art style, and I didn't catch it when I was first watching it because I thought it was like full on kind of CGI Pixar style, and then I got to looking really close, like, oh, okay, they're doing this with it. But that movie was that one hit me pretty good, just because I have a daughter that's getting older, and she's kind of going through that, dad stage,
and you look a lot like the main character. So
slightly,
or
yes.
the main male character.
I have way better legs,
The dad.
but
True. And no
you
glasses.
have a number 3 screwdriver in your pocket right now?
the number 3, what was it? Non-slip. Number 3 non-slip. Not Stevens. What did he call it?
Richardson? No.
It was something weird.
Yeah.
But no, I need to get one now. But yeah, that movie was so like that was another one that I think we needed this year, just like this whole kind of coming together thing. And I've been suggesting that to people to watch it, like, oh, I need something to watch, like watch that, and like, what's it like? It's like, it's kind of like a Goofy movie meets Terminator. Like, it's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
Well, and the kid brother is hilarious.
The kid brother's great. I've been trying to peg his voice down, and I guess I could just look it up. But
I looked it up, and now I can't remember who it was.
I think Blake Griffin did a voice in that too.
Yeah,
Blake-
he did.
Are we talking?
Mitchell's vs. Machines.
Oh, great movie. Yeah, Blake was the Omnibot or the Max, the killer bots.
Mhm.
That was him.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
Beck Bennett and Fred Armisen as the two robots that
Yes,
help.
Yes.
the glitched
Maya
robots.
Rudolph.
God, that was so
Maya Rudolph.
They had a good cast.
Yeah.
Danny McBride is the dad.
Mhm.
You had
Oh, the girl from Broad City. What's
the main character.
Yeah,
Abby Jacobson.
The brother was the guy from
Mike Rionda.
yeah
Gravity
he,
Falls.
Gravity Falls. He was I think he's one of the writers for
Also a great show. Yeah.
John Legend, Chrissy Teigen were the perfect neighbors. The mom and
it.
dad.
Oh,
the
okay.
The Instagram people. Yeah.
I didn't know who they played. I remember seeing, like, when I watched the scroll at the end, because I just, like, a lot of times I'll, like, pre-screen a movie, like, okay, who's in it, who's this, and then sometimes I just want to go in completely blind, like, not even knowing the plot or whatever, like, okay, that, screenshot or whatever, that thumbnail looks cool, we're just going to watch it, and that's kind of what I did with this one, and then when I saw the credit roll at the end, I was like, oh, they had a lot of really, like, I didn't catch all the voices either.
Yeah, the kids had already watched it like 5 times before I got a chance to watch it once with them. So
The dog. That damn dog.
Oh, that was actually Doug the Bug too.
pig,
Yeah.
dog, bread.
Yeah.
Loaf of bread. Like
Dog, pig, dog,
sure you
pig,
guys-
dog, pig.
I walked in at the end of this, but that was probably one of the best movies I've seen. Like seriously, like it was just a feel good movie the entire way.
Right.
Like wasn't gross humor, it was just a great movie. Just really enjoyable.
Be prepared and always carry a screwdriver.
Yep.
Well, I think it's really interesting going back to kind of what we were talking about a little bit before. The way our society mirrors and the art that mirrors what our society is going through, and then also what we need. So you have the 60s, and the 60s is, the summer of love and 69 and everything going on. And then you have all of those gritty directors, the Francis Ford Coppola's and the, all of that style that came out. And so the Serpicos and everything else, it was this gritty 70s cinema.
Right.
And then we get into the 80s, and then we have this, yuppie, the Wall Streets, the greed. We also have, some fun Goonies and Gremlins and things like that.
Weird Science.
Yeah, Weird Science. And so it's a lot of it's looking at and kind of mirroring what we are as a society and what we need. And so I'm hoping that with Raya, with Mitchell vs. Machines, with a lot of these that are coming out, that Hollywood is like, look, we've been through shit. We've been through a lot of shit. Right. So let's not necessarily have a bunch of these downer movies and things like that, but let's have something that's reaffirming. Let's have something that is good for society and not necessarily, nothing against the Joker. But I'm probably only going to watch that once more in my lifetime, honestly.
I agree.
But Mitchell vs. Machines, I'll probably watch that again today. Raya, I'll probably watch that again within the week or so.
Yeah.
And so there should be, I think, some monetary ideas put behind. Right. Hey, let's make some feel good. That's going to be good for the whole family, and that's going to be actually funny and well written. And I think there's something behind that too.
That's a really good point. That was a perfect example of Joker, because it was a great movie,
phenomenal movie.
I've only watched it once.
Me too.
And then I'm thinking about like the morning show and how it pretty much was just another version of what Matt Lauer did.
Right.
On was it today?
Today.
It was on Apple Plus.
I probably will never go back and binge watch that season. Right. I watched it all, and it was an amazing show. And season 2 I'll probably watch, but but to your point, you watch something and it's really good, but it doesn't have that staying power to be rewatched and become that cultural icon like Goonies. Like I think Raya is going to be
Army of the Dead.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Well, like most of those examples you gave though were from when we were younger. Right. So some of these that we're talking about now, you're talking about Joker and a few others that, like, those may be culturally significant for the generation below us. That may be something that they're watching over and over again, or that really sticks with them. We're just kind of tired of some of the shit, and we want to feel good for a little bit. So it's not hitting with us like it may, but it may be hitting a different generation different.
You talked about the 70s, and I loved, you know, the 70s, the Scarface.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't name a whole lot of those movies that I've just watched and watched. I mean, Goodfellas, which is probably, I think that's 80s, but Scarface is one I'll watch religiously. Serpico. But other than that, and like, you know, The Godfathers, I love the movies. That's not something I go back and just constantly rewatch. Right. So, although it's amazing, it's Oscar worthy, amazing starting point for so many actors. There's just some of these cultural iconic movies that you ask everyday person, they've probably watched only 4 to 5 times, and I would say my dad has probably only watched it, maybe if not that many times.
You think some of those, like especially in that era, so like late 70s to 80s in there, when we were all collectively younger, like our group here, we didn't have access to what we have now, right? I mean, we can watch anything at any time, whenever we want. Bam. What we had when we were younger is whatever we had either on VHS or what we could get from Blockbuster or whatever your local movie rental thing was, and you stuck with what you liked because, you know, mom would only let you rent one movie a week if you were lucky, that kind of thing. And you knew, I like this movie, we don't own this movie, I'm gonna rent this movie again.
Literally going to Blockbuster.
Yeah, and so
or what was on cable.
Well, some of us.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I didn't have satellite till I was in high school.
I think right at the end of high school.
Silver Spoon's BRob had a movie theater.
His butler brought him out the cassette, the VHS tape on a platter. Go, what would you like today,
it was
sir?
one of my siblings wearing a butler uniform.
Which Ninja Turtles for you tonight, sir? 1, 2, or 3? Turtles in Time? Great choice.
I feel like Vanilla Ice. Let's go with 2.
But I think, like you're saying, even getting older, like you think of like Shawshank Redemption. I will watch that at any point.
Oh yeah, if it's on,
and
if I'm flipping through or I see, like, yep, that's what we're watching.
And that's a
Top Gun.
A redeeming movie. You know, Princess Bride, or
yes,
different movies that are like, okay, I'm gonna watch that again. I don't care where it is in the movie. Like if it's on, I'm like, okay, I got an hour. I'll sit down and watch. But yeah, Scarface comes on or Godfather, and they're great movies. But I'm not like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this.
Like I said, but Shawshank is one of those that you just don't turn off. Princess Bride is one of those that you just, like, we watched Princess Bride earlier this week, I think, and I just realized, like, my daughter had never watched the whole thing, and it's like, yeah, we're watching this, and what would be another one?
Top Gun.
Labyrinth, yeah.
I mean,
The Goonies is one for me.
Goonies, yes.
Definitely Goonies. Another one for me is Transformers, the movie, 86. That's on. I'll watch it.
G.I. Joe, the movie, is probably mine.
Yes.
The old animated one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I thought Duke was going to die.
Yeah.
He was supposed to die. We've talked about that. He was supposed to die.
So are you saying Transformers 86 or Transformers
86?
Okay, good.
No, not Michael Bay Transformers.
The first Michael Bay is okay.
Hey,
it's okay.
You know,
I still will watch up the first 3. I'll watch the first 3 if they're on, regardless.
I like 1 and 2, 3. I have to be in the mood for.
Yeah.
Right.
But 86.
Just hearing that.
Yes.
I remember hearing that in the theater, and I literally thought I got a boner. I was like, that is the most amazing thing I've ever
Did you have to
seen.
think you did? I mean, you can check that, like, pretty easily.
When you're old, you have to wonder, is it a boner? Did I crap my pants? What's going on?
Do I have to pee?
He was on a date and he had a bucket of popcorn.
So
there,
that's
he
the most
couldn't
amazing
stand
thing.
up.
Is your boner the most amazing thing? Is that
To get one? Yeah.
We are
About my
4
pill.
30 to 40 something year olds.
That happens.
like Dumb and Dumber and movies like that are also ones that.
Well, and I think it says a lot too when you go back and, like, if you look at our libraries today,
Mm-hmm.
what's in there that's old, that's from our childhood, or what is all just stuff that stuck with us, or it's the new stuff. You know what I mean?
Mine was probably like the original, Ninja Turtles trilogy. Actually, like 3 better than I did 2. Always had to have in some form Indiana Jones up to the Last Crusade. After that, whatever. What else would I have in there? I mean, Indiana Jones was big. I watched Indiana, and I think that goes back to like a memory of like maybe 8, 9, somewhere in there. And the lady that babysat me and my brother had Temple of Doom. And that's my favorite one, which is like generally regarded as the worst one of the 3.
My favorite one,
but that's my favorite one because that's the one I watched over and over and over again because she only had like 3 movies. So I'm like, okay, we're watching Indiana Jones.
That should be you and Chris's go back. He should call you Dr. Jones.
Halloween
Wait,
costume.
what
Short round.
God damn it! Why do I get to be
Indiana.
short round?
Because you're shorting your round.
Oh yeah, good point.
There you go.
I can't argue with either of that logic.
Logic is hard to argue with,
It
Chris.
is. So I'm looking at my queue here. I've actually gave Kyle access to my queue. Any of the rank in my Voodoo.
Brag.
And you were just talking about a prison wallet.
My prison wallet. I give him access to my prison wallet. He likes it.
What exactly is a prison wallet? Can you explain?
Do we want to?
I don't know if I want to get into that right now. Oh,
No, don't get into the prison wallet.
That's what she said. Is that
We have one of those?
is that button on there?
It is. Somewhere. Why is it not on page 1?
page one's the.
All right, so have Kyle say that again.
What did I say?
Let's not get into that prison wallet.
Yeah, let's not, I gotta say that. That one? Yeah, let's not get into that prison wallet.
That's what she said. Woo!
Okay.
Oh, it's Bender.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's Bender.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of the ones that I'll always go back and watch, I'm looking at my queue here, is the old Rankin and Bass movies, like The Year Without Santa Claus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Like over the holidays, I've gotten my kids into those. We'll watch those religiously just because they're great old movies. Elf is another one for me.
Yeah.
That has high replay value. Like if it comes on, I will stop everything to watch it. Those are just like some of the ones, and it seems like it's those old movies, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
The Hobbit, the Rankin and Bass Hobbit.
Right.
Oh, the animated?
The animated.
Yes. Oh, I love that one.
For me is another one's Rad because I just love that one
Right.
so much. I'm telling you,
You,
gotta
I
watch
watched
that.
it. You made me watch it. I watched it with my daughter, and she left halfway through.
She's smart.
She is.
You both suck.
It's a great movie.
It's
You're starting to
amazing.
sound like Tom Holland. Hey, did you guys ever watch that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back?
And then like and of course any of the Disney movies, like the animated, they're there. But for me and my kids also, it's Studio Ghibli. Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service. Your daughter would love it. They always have.
I think you would like it.
Yeah, I actually think you might. They have deep meanings. Like some of them are, don't abuse the planet. Some of them are be careful what you wish for. Be thankful for what you have. Appreciate your family. They always have a huge family meaning to it.
It's not overly anime to where it's you lose. Because there's some anime that's overly anime, but they're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are actually really good, and I think your daughter would love it. I really do.
I got my kids. I got my daughter started watching those because I think Spirited Away was the first one I watched. Like back in college, I was kind of drunk, and then it took me years to figure out what the movie was I was watching that night.
That's a good gateway.
Mm-hmm. And then I watched that. And I was like, okay, there's more of these, and so we started watching them. I got my daughter watching them. She got really into those, and then she got really into like the rest of anime in general.
We kind of touched on TV of the past year or two, but TV was a lot more rough, I think, this year because they couldn't film a lot of new stuff.
One here.
Really? I mean, I feel like the only thing that really stands out to me that was horrible was the last episode of The Blacklist, when it's like going between some of the film scenes that were filmed to like a rough animated blackboard type deal that was just strange.
On that,
Yeah, because it was like you'd see Liz is talking to Red, and then all of a sudden it cuts to a scene where it's like at The Sims, and it was bad. So that's really the only thing because I feel like so much good content has come out, and new things. Whether it was
so I'm
the Mankind. Oh God, I can't think of the name of it now. That on Apple TV
For All Mankind.
For All Mankind. That was amazing.
So I'm not talking. Let me clarify this. What I'm talking about more like I'm talking like network TV, that kind of TV. That the content for the pay for subscription, that excelled to me.
Yeah.
That's where we had our WandaVisions. We had our Falcons and the Winter Soldiers. We had the Ted Lassos.
Yeah.
That excelled.
Even Tiger Kings and
Oh
things
yeah,
like
And your Tiger Kings.
did come out. I forgot that did come out in the middle of the pandemic.
That's really what we needed.
Actually, it is.
That's what Oklahoma needed.
Right.
Really. just to further every damn stereotype.
They're mostly accurate.
I know, but I don't want other people to know that. Shit.
But that's more what I'm talking about.
Dang.
Because now I'm racking my brain to think about what came out.
See, I don't watch a lot of network TV anymore.
That's my point.
I was going to say that I think that's what Chris is saying, is that if we have to rack our brain about what...
I mean, because I've been anticipating Yellowstone, which comes out next month.
Right.
Because that ended 2020.
See, I haven't even went down that rabbit hole yet. Like, I've refused to.
You need to.
Yeah,
God.
It's amazing.
Son of a bitch. Okay.
Okay, we'll move on. So...
that was movies. We had comics. The past year we had these were the COVID movies.
Yep.
Kind of hit there.
Let's go down. I mean, I think we hit that pretty good.
Comics of the past year. Okay, so do you think there's been like a mini comic revival? Not just because Marvel kicked it off, right? Obviously, I mean you can't deny that. DC's been doing it forever. I think Marvel really, and we talked about this. I can't remember which one we did with you guys. If it was one of you guys, we did it. But
Spider-Man meme.
We're all pointing at each other right now. So yeah, but the DC was always there with Batman, always. But DC always had Batman. Like that was the staple. Marvel took it to another level with all these other characters and all these other storylines and stuff. And so I think that really kicked it off to making comics more mainstream. I know it was enough to kick my interest into high gear to finding things to read and stuff now that, there's been a push for it, like, and not just from the comic side, but from the TV and movie side, because you're seeing, The Boys, you're seeing, what's the one on Amazon? Invincible.
Preacher, The Boys.
Preacher.
I think that's, with DC, one thing that they really capitalized on before Marvel was the graphic novel.
Absolutely.
Kingdom Come. It was the Red Sun. It was, Dark Knight, of course.
Longest Halloween.
Yes, and so then you've got The Boys. You've got a lot of these things that have come in. Preacher, that are
Walking Dead. Yes.
Yeah. That
the other Kirkman
was basically set up by this idea of having these graphic novels that can so easily translate into movies or TV shows. And so I'm glad that Marvel is starting to catch up, basically starting with Civil War. And then, that, of course, becoming Captain America 3. But then I think they're starting to come along too. And so, yeah, I definitely think you're right about how Marvel has saw what was going on and said, okay, well, we're Marvel and we now have of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to now.
Thank you, Papa Mouse.
Yeah. Overtake this.
Well, like what Chris has for the headline right now is comics of the past year. What I'm thinking, I'm going to take a different spin on this from what I think you were intending is that it may not necessarily, with the pandemic, with everybody locked down and with all this content coming out that we can watch, comics of the past year may not necessarily be comics that were released the past year. I think there's a lot of people discovering things. They're going down these rabbit holes that, me personally, I started doing a few years ago, going down these rabbit holes and because you get Lock and Key on Netflix. I still haven't got to watch, but I've read the first volume a while back, and what's killing me with that is like I want to read the entire series before I watch the show so I can critique the shit out of it.
Right.
But I know Lock and Key Volume 1, I've read that like 2 or 3 times, and it's great. Like you could see so much potential there for something, and Netflix jumped on it. Netflix is jumping on so much.
Shadow and Bone.
Shadow and Bone was so good.
I haven't got to watch it yet.
And they signed that contract with Mark Millar that who created Kick-Ass, another graphic novel, and Kingsman, another graphic novel, comic/graphic novel, and Jupiter's Legacy. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
I haven't, but I've read about it.
It's good. I really liked it.
I heard I don't know if it was Chris or I read it somewhere that it's like Netflix's answer to The Boys. Like it's The Boys light-ish.
It's The Boys light-ish, and it's they're the golden age of superheroes.
Yeah, kind of not really. It's not as bloody and anti superhero as what Boys, because Boys is pretty much anti superhero. This is more of what if Jupiter's Legacy, that is more of like, what happens when the younger generation comes up through the ranks, and can we continue this golden age idea of Superman's always going to do what's right, but what about Superman's kid in 2021 with everything going on? So there is some shades of Boys in there, but I think I would be closer to Invincible than it would be than it would be The Boys.
So Invincible gets really bad.
Yeah. Well, in the way that Invincible focuses in on the younger.
Okay, that's where you're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily what happens plot point by plot point, but it's focusing on the newer generation, and that's what Jupiter's Legacy is talking about. That legacy of what carries on and the code. So I would definitely recommend it, but it's
on my list.
There's so much content out there that started with the comics that are, and I think the great thing about comics during pandemic is it's really pushed that digital comic and that platform forward. So Marvel Unlimited, DC Unlimited, or DC Online, I think is what it's called. So it's pushing all of that forward to where you have access to so much more than if you just went to your local comic book shop and had your pull list. So I think it's
worth a watch though.
Yeah, in pandemic, strangely enough to say, I think has been good probably for comics for the digital side of it.
And that's where I like to actually hold the book in my hand, but it's just another one of those things where I live. I can't just like pop into a comic shop. I would love to be able to pop into a shop and just pull something off the shelf and take that home. I have to, shop it online, get recommendations from Chris, and then I usually end up going digital and reading it when I can. But I like to actually have it, and it's just kind of like video games. Like everything's going digital. Hard copies are always going to. Well, I won't say they'll always be a thing, but they're
making a resurgence.
Well, yeah.
I refuse to buy anything that's not a hard copy. Honestly,
they're making a resurgence, and I mean he's.
Well, and you're going to spend the same amount
for a
game. You're going to spend the same amount.
Yeah, well, that plus you got to buy SIM card. You already have to have so much extra for like my son's Nintendo Switch. You have to buy so much extra storage and everything for that. So So I got a question, and that'll help maybe push us. And then we got that hard stop.
Yeah, we got.
So as far as TV, what is something that everybody is looking forward to coming up?
Is it coming up too? I need to think about that one.
So I've got a couple.
Go
ahead, lead off.
So Titans coming out on HBO, the third season.
And they just announced it in August, I believe.
Yeah, for August. I'm super excited about that because I think we're going to see Jason Todd turn into the Red Hood.
They've already said Red Robin's supposed to make an appearance.
So I'm super excited about that one. And then Disney Plus working on their Percy Jackson series.
Oh.
So those are probably to the TV, and then Yellowstone coming out next month.
So the Percy Jackson thing, is that going to be a a full-on reboot of the movies?
Yeah, so it's supposed to be over the entire first series of books.
Okay.
Nice.
And then hopefully they transition that to the Heroes of Olympus, I think is the next so and then maybe build off of that and do the Magnus Chase, do the Kane Chronicles, all of that. But
how many movies are there already though? Two. Okay.
And then they just kind of Thief, and then the Sea of Monsters.
Sea of Monsters tanked it.
Yeah, it's awful.
So will these be picking up after that, or is it just a whole new?
It's a total reboot.
Okay.
And they're getting actors young enough that would be able to carry it through the entire series. Is what I've read.
Awesome.
That's key with so many of these shows that are based off of some type of books or comics or whatever. That you have your actors aging out. You look at Carl with The Walking Dead. But he's like 30 now. So,
I thought the original casting for Percy Jackson was amazing, but once you see Annabeth's boobs on True Detective, it's kind of hard to go back to that. So,
I thought his name was.
Let me make a note of that.
I thought his name was Coral.
Coral.
Yeah.
Justin, do you have any?
Well, the The MODOK was one that I was really looking forward to, and it
Yeah,
just came out yesterday.
Oh, was it yesterday?
Patton Oswalt, right?
So
Yeah,
the
Patton.
first 2 episodes came out yesterday. So that's what I was looking for because I'm jonesing for the Marvel content, but I also want that funny, and it's the Robot Chicken
right.
version of Marvel, and it's so I watched the first one. I haven't watched the second one yet. And
You had me
it's-
a robot chicken.
Yeah.
So,
It-
okay,
it's
how
good.
was the first one?
I liked it.
Was
Some
it
of the jokes didn't
goofy?
land. It was goofy, and some of the jokes didn't land. But for the most part, I'd give it 4 out of 5 stars.
Really?
whatever.
That's on our list to watch.
We need a rating system.
But that actually for the second year, yeah, you should have 3 out of 4 nerd thumbs. I don't know. What's a nerd?
Prison wallets.
Yeah, prison wallet. There you go. There you go.
The Nerks.
The prison wallets. But
Or beards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Okay,
will be
so
coming off
so we'll have the progression. Like, is it a BRob? Is it a Justin? Is it? Like, I mean, I'll take top
Right.
spot. Whatever.
Right, you can.
I mean, I have to.
yeah, I've always heard you're a top anyway. So,
Ah.
but the
That's what she said.
there you go.
We'll take that.
Noise. But anytime you watch the first episode of anything, of course, it's not going to be as good as once you start
Right,
learning the
right,
characters and all that. So
That's why I haven't finished Clone Wars.
I was
So-
actually really, really happy with it. And like Bad Batch.
He's just shaking his head at me.
Speaking of Clone Wars, Bad Batch, I've loved Bad Batch.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have too. I've
So
really
good.
enjoyed
I
Bad Batch.
really.
So a lot of the stuff I was looking forward to is out right now.
And The Mandalorian. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh,
season
yeah.
2.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, the Book of Boba
Season
Fett's
3.
probably the next thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm
Mandalorian's going to be 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because Book of Boba Fett's supposed to be December,
Right.
Mhm.
So
and they said that's only 3 episodes too, from what I heard.
Really? They're doing like
I'm
3.
getting
They're
really
doing
sick
long.
of these really short seasons.
I am too, but
But because that's just carried over to everything. Like the Mayans MC was even a super short season. So I mean, it's
I like it because I can actually finish it. Like, I can sit through and get
Oh, yeah.
it done.
and yet you still don't have time to watch the Clone Wars.
No, I don't. I need to. But
So good.
Clone Wars is so
Yeah,
good.
so
'cause
So good.
Then you get down the rabbit hole of Rebels, which Rebels.
Rebels was amazing.
Yeah,
so
Rebels
good,
is one of
too.
my favorite series.
I couldn't get into Resistance.
Mm.
I like Resistance for what it is, just a completely out there take of something.
I've tried, and me and T just
can't
couldn't
do
do
it.
it. Mm-mm.
And it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Mystery Science Theater for me, but it's
It's up.
probably
Yeah,
right,
it's
pretty
around.
we're
close
going
to
to
it.
convert you eventually.
I
We'll
don't-
get you there.
Actually, I think this is one we will lose on this one.
No, I am.
With
I will.
known BRob like I do, I think we will lose on this
I
one.
really tried. I mean, I
He-
listened to the whole podcast, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it again. And I tried like 6 episodes, and just
Good
Which okay?
Well, it depends
Did we
on
give
which
him
six-
good?
No, we need to. Justin will
Okay.
help us. We'll come up with a list. And
Yeah.
that might help.
okay.
Yeah. Because
I'll give it one more good old college try.
Because Mitchell is a classic. Mitchell's a classic.
I mean, Space
Oh,
Mutiny, Overdrawn at the Memory
Oh,
Bank.
we're talking about Mystery Science. I thought we were talking about Resistance still.
We went. We
So Mystery Science you couldn't get into.
Yeah, he could get into
Oh,
Mystery
shit.
Science.
We've tried.
Give Resistance a good old college try.
I've got so much stuff to give you then. I've got literally
You guys cannot see how lit up Justin's eyes just get like.
I've got a stack of DVDs and Blu-rays as tall as me. It's literally that.
I'm down. I'll give it a try.
So-
Yeah, he will. He's
Oh,
giving it a try.
And you said your kiddo liked Godzilla.
Mhm.
I've got a whole pack that's the Mechazilla and all of that.
That's awesome.
And so, yeah, we'll get you.
TV I'm looking forward to is going to be the Marvel What If series.
Yeah, what if? Mm-hmm.
So I like alternate timeline things. I mean just the concept of that really appeals to me. I think there was an article let's see, what was the article about? I already forgot it. But like the whole idea of because you have the multiverses and everything, and you look back at the console. Well, this happened in this universe, but this happened in this universe, and somebody that just is not going to be able to go back and dive into all of that. I know it's not going to be the same thing. Allegedly, I don't know. They're going to hit on some of that.
Yeah, those were some of the best comics I've
Yeah.
read
Yeah. To this day.
to this day.
Yeah.
This is the What If series.
Okay, so that was its own thing. Okay, so yeah, that probably more than anything is is what I'm excited for, just because that's what I'm involved in right now. Like, something will probably get my attention in a week, and then I'll forget about it. But right now, that's where I'm at.
I'm looking forward to Titans season 3, just because I really enjoyed Titans. I really did. Like, season 1 was a little rough. Season 2 was phenomenal. I think season 3 is going to be the best one. Stargirl season 2, even though I am deathly afraid of that right now,
Right.
I have a feeling the CW is going to bastardize it.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, that was to date the best version of Solomon Grundy anybody's done.
It was, and I love that version. And Stargirl was great. Everything about that show was great.
And I like Luke Wilson. I think he
did great as Pat. I even liked Courtney. I liked her character.
Right.
Like, even though she was bratty, like, it was the good kind of bratty. It was the bratty that got you into the show. Loki.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to
yeah,
that.
we
That's
missed
we're 2 weeks away.
Oh, Love, Death, and Robots 2, Season 2.
Season 2.
I haven't got to
It
watch
just
that
hit.
yet. I finished 1.
I've
Got
watched
through the
it.
first one. What, was it not as good as the
Does
first
it fall
season?
off? Like, I know they don't link.
I got through 1 episode.
Yeah, it
And it's only like 6 episodes versus
yeah,
18.
and they're 12 minutes long, so you can easily power through it.
right.
Yeah.
But the first season, man, I loved it.
It was great.
Loved it.
Mhm.
And this season, I'm like, I think it tried to be too much Black Mirror.
Oh.
And
Okay.
It's not awful, but at the same time, it's not. the
Something
worst.
else I started and didn't finish was Black Mirror. But there's a theme going here if you haven't picked up on
I
it.
can
Yeah.
tell.
Okay.
The ending of Castlevania, the Netflix animated series, I'm almost through that right now.
I haven't started it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
It's closing up a lot of the questions you had, and it's just as bloody as the first, if not bloodier. The Resident Evil TV series that's starting next month. If you guys haven't seen that, it follows Leon. It's got Chris. It's got all your classic characters in it. Go watch the trailer. It looks fucking fantastic.
Well, you need to watch Sweet Home then. The original Sweet Home.
I need. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
I
on my
linked that
list.
for you.
Yes.
Sweet
that-
Home Alabama?
No. Okay. So
He's a big Reese-
I went down a
Reese
rabbit hole last night on
porn.
porn. No, we were playing. What were we playing?
I don't.
That was
I don't wanna
that was
know what
later.
you're playing.
That was a different thing. We were playing.
It was called "Sit on My Thumb."
To say
Um,
porn and then what were we playing? It does
Look,
not.
Trying
Things
to make the
happen.
Prison wallet bigger.
Yeah, it was a prison wallet thing.
We were playing Ghostbusters, Chris and Kyle Afterlife.
Yeah, we crossed the streams.
Across the streams.
And we were playing a game called Sweet Home
Sweet Home
Survival.
Survival.
Yeah, and we were trying to figure, or Home Sweet Home Survival, or something like that.
Yeah.
We're like, where did this come from? Like, we've heard this name before, and it was like either Thai or Japanese, some theme behind it. Like it Thai. Okay. And like we knew there was a TV series that we had heard somewhere before. So I went down a rabbit hole of looking, like after we got through playing last night, and found the series that we were talking about, which is actually on Netflix. And then through the rabbit hole that this, I don't know what you would call it, I guess that title, Sweet Home, was actually the name of a Famicom horror game, late 80s, which was based on a movie called Sweet Home. So Sweet Home was the movie which inspired the game made by Capcom, which inspired the Resident Evil, which was originally supposed to be a remake of Sweet Home. And so I started watching the original movie last night.
He really got down it.
The original movie's Korean, right?
Japanese.
Okay. For some reason, I thought it was part of the Korean horror.
No, I think the TV series is.
So the one that I have told you to watch, Home Sweet Home, is South Korean, which is based off of this series.
Okay.
Because it's the one people turn into monsters based off of whatever their deepest desires are.
Right.
Mhm.
Like this one guy died by all the monsters trying to reach out for his son. So he had a normal body, but he had these arms, his monster form, could reach around. Doo-doo-ch.
Which one is it?
You missed that. Could reach around like the entire, thank you, the
Yep.
entire building. Like, and grab you from anywhere.
Yeah.
Like one guy, he was a voyeur. He turned into a giant eyeball with wings.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it just an interesting concept, just very well written stuff.
I think they've got to all be influenced by one or the other because that name is just too specific for
I
a
think they're all
horror,
part of the same.
for like Asian horror genre. But Sweet Home, the movie, which came out, like I watched half of it last night and I fell asleep. It made me jump a few times. Like it had some of that good
It's from the
80s,
80s, yeah.
like late 80s horror movie feel, and it was cheesy, but a couple of the jump scares, like got my ass. And
I'm all for cheesy.
I like to say I don't scare easy, but we played enough horror games together that
We do.
I yell a lot. Yeah.
I'm just wondering when they're finally going to bring in Reese Witherspoon for that crossover. Bring in the American audience
Soon.
Good.
And then another one I'm really looking forward to is Miss Marvel. Because it's being filmed right now, and I think She-Hulk's this year too.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Miss Marvel because they said direct tie-in to the Young Avengers. They're hinting at a movie. I don't know if it's going to be a TV show or not. And I'm iffy on the Hawkeye. I think it has the potential to be great, but I just don't know because I haven't read much about it.
Haley, anything with Haley Stanfield, I'm in.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think that might have after Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki, that might have been the next one I was most excited about because of her and because of Renner and the handoff to Kate Bishop.
Right.
So
So those are the ones I'm really TV shows I'm really looking forward to this year.
what about movies?
Movies, Eternals. Shang-Chi. I'm looking forward to that one. We actually have a list of stuff.
I was looking at here.
Shang-Chi, I'm really looking forward to. I'm actually looking forward to the new Ghostbusters, a fresh take, the Afterlife.
Takes place in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually.
That's been in production for like
Ivan
4
Son,
years.
right?
Yeah. By his son. So,
Well, I wore the one that I'm most excited about.
Black Widow. It's. Did you see that they're talking? That they're going to have all the Guardians in there. Not Guardians of the Galaxy, but the Soviet Guardians, like Crimson Dynamo. What's the other one?
Which one is this?
Black Widow.
Okay.
That one.
I'm really wondering if they're gonna let what's her name? Florence Pugh's character take up the mantle and be in the Avengers. Be the new Black Widow in the Avengers.
I have a feeling they will. I have nothing to base this on. This is just gut feeling. I think they will.
As hot as she is right now,
it'd be stupid not to.
Because I mean, she's amazing. I mean, she
She's
did
great.
that biopic, Fighting with My Family, about Paige.
Yes. She was great in that.
She was amazing. And then
Saw
Little
her.
Women, she was
Yeah.
amazing.
She got an Academy nomination for Little Women, and she was in Midsummer. And that's a great Zoolander callback. She's so hot right now.
I think looking off this list that Chris has, probably the two that really catch my eye
Spider-Man.
of movies that are coming out. Well, Spider-Man, but
Snake Eyes is the one.
Deadpool
Eyes,
3
yeah.
and Blade.
That looks awesome. Yeah.
Deadpool 3 and Blade are probably really. That's not this year though. That's further on down the
That's
line.
further on
Yeah,
down.
that's
Did I scroll too far down?
Yeah.
I scrolled too
Black
far
Widow
down.
and Snake Eyes are probably my two. Because Snake Eyes was that was my dude, man.
And this is
Totally.
pre him getting his vocal cords cut too.
See, and somebody, I saw a post about why is he talking? Why is he this? And then there was just an argument about, was it because of did he lose his voice because of the vow of silence he took after his sensei, or was it because of when the helicopter blew up and he got his vocal cords? So there's this huge argument, and I'm like, well, you're all right to an extent. So,
I would really like to see them establish a really solid G.I. Joe universe,
right.
because what was
So
before
weak.
But I liked it, but it just fell just short.
Yeah, it wasn't G.I. Joe. It was an action movie that had a G.I. Joe name,
Right.
And it just wasn't G.I. Joe to me.
Right.
And that's the kid that the more you know. I watched.
Right.
Yeah. It felt like the Transformers
found-
version of G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
When I found out we were having a boy, that's the first thing I did. Went out and bought hard copies of every season of G.I. Joe, He-Man, Thundercats.
Everything.
Because I was so like.
Were you gonna name him Lion-O?
Duke,
Flint,
Snake Eyes,
Roblox?
Tunnel Rat.
Yeah.
There you go.
And so teach him to only speak and rhyme.
Teach him how to cook.
Yeah.
First day at kindergarten. Go on, Tunnel Rat. Let's see what.
Pyro. There you go.
So is Storm Shadow in that movie? That's not by Yang Kim, is it? Or the guy from the original? Is it? Is it him from the original G.I. Joe?
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
See, I only
I
saw
think
a
it's a new
couple
cast.
flashes of it, and it looked like him, but I didn't think it was.
I don't think
it's
it
a
is.
whole new. I know Scarlett's new.
Yep.
I
Baroness
think
is
they're
new.
trying to
Yeah, and I
make
would
a
too.
break.
Reestablish
But
him.
he was an amazing Storm Shadow.
Yeah,
Out of all the characters that were done right,
he was great.
him, and then I thought The Rock did a good job, but Dwayne Johnson can do no wrong in my
No, he
eyes.
can't.
So.
Yeah, I love Channing Tatum, and I think Baroness, what's her name? Shoots onto my tongue. The girl that played Baroness, I think she was great.
Right.
But then having Christopher Eccles as Destro, he
That
was
was-
just over the top.
Right. And Marlon Wayans didn't do a very good
No.
job as Ripcord.
No.
No. And so, yeah, I think having
I
a
forgot he was
complete
Ripcord.
reboot
Yeah.
is going to
Is
be
it in order?
they're out to go.
Dune's another one I'm looking forward to.
I didn't know
Yeah.
Jackass 4 was a thing.
Jackass 4 is this year.
Borderlands.
Because Batista's in Dune.
Oh, yeah, Borderlands.
Oh,
Borderlands. I
Borderlands.
freaking love Borderlands.
Can't wait.
New Space Jam.
Hey,
Suicide
I'm
Squad
excited.
2.
I'm excited.
New Candy Man.
Yeah, Suicide Squad 2.
The next season of
Oh,
Harley
no,
Quinn.
yeah.
Canadian.
Candyman. No, they're doing a remake of Candyman.
Next season of Harley Quinn's another TV that I'm excited
Yes.
for. 'Cause I thought that was amazing.
It's
and
great.
Margot Robbie is different from what I just said, but Margot Robbie is. I read an article where she's really pushing to get Poison Ivy
Mhm.
into a DC movie and explore that relationship
Between
on the
them.
live action.
That would be awesome.
I liked the last time we saw Poison Ivy. Because I mean, Zuma.
Uma.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little partial.
In the animated, they do a really good job. And Lake Bell does an amazing job
she's
with her.
really good.
It's just a good show.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Like King Shark is.
Ron Funches.
Yes, like he's amazing in that. He can do no wrong because I really like him in Final Space also.
Right.
Justin, what are you looking forward to?
All of that.
All the things.
BRob?
Yeah. I
All
mean,
that.
everything we've talked about, and the only other thing we didn't talk about is Green Lantern Corps. And no, we talked about it.
Yes, we've
I'm really
talked about
excited
that.
about
I'm
about
super excited about that.
possibility.
Well, and I think they just cast Alan Scott too. I read something they just cast Alan Scott, and I'm like, that's perfect, actually.
They did. It's the actor from American Horror Story and a couple other things.
Oh, Dandy, the guy who played Dandy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Oh shit! What's his name?
Oh, he's always going to be Dandy to me from
Yeah.
now
Okay.
on.
that guy.
But we are coming to a stopping point here. Two things that I want to take note of. Go to the very bottom. We can go over the rest of these.
All right.
That's the opposite direction.
I know I hit the wrong button. We're getting there.
We're thinking about starting a couple different things. One of these you guys were part of, and you actually gave me the idea for it. And if you guys are willing to run it, we want to do an EGTN fantasy football league.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Kyle and I
Easy
already
win for
said,
one of us, I would think.
well, Kyle and I had already said it's not going to be much because basically we don't have a shit ton of money. We would split a
We should
small prize.
Yeah, we should all just throw in some cash and get like a belt.
Oh,
Ooh.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Or traveling belt, traveling trophy. Yes.
we need a first
We can do
place and then a last place.
So if you guys are
Dibs on last.
willing to take that on, that's something that I've been throwing around. I also want to do an EGTN fantasy movie league.
Explain that because that.
So this is where you take, it can be really however you want it to be, but you can take, this is where you take bets on based on the actors, what their budget is, how much they spent on the movie versus how much they made on the movie.
Oh.
Okay.
Because it's like, hey, look,
Like an opening week thing?
yeah,
Or, okay.
yeah, like Jungle Cruise, it's going to be huge. The Rock's in it. We know it's going to be huge, and it's a Disney property. But how much did they spend versus, let's say, how much Suicide Squad 2 spent and how much they meant? I just think that would be kind of something fun to
Dune would
do.
be the one that I would be like, how much is it going to make?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, you always think that. So I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might be fun to incorporate like the top 5 movies of that week once things are
Mhm.
released back. And so that plays into it of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right,
and,
right.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd
And
be
then
cool.
So that's.
I will definitely commish the
We should.
football league if you want me to.
Yeah. No, if,
I'll
if-
be in charge of that.
yeah, if you guys want to take that on, I would love to get this going because just seeing how much chat and how much my name was talked shit that night after because something happened. We were out somewhere doing something, and then I just remember Tasha going, "Hey, you need to go look at this. They're mentioning you a lot." I go, "Son of a!" I mean, none of this is wrong, but still, I wasn't even here.
He's out of line. He's right, but he's out of line.
Apparently, I had a doppelganger at one point too. He must have been handsome.
Yeah, so then we just need 6 to 8 more people.
We can get it.
Yeah, I have a feeling you'll get that easy.
Oh yeah.
So if you all are interested, let us know. We'll start a channel.
Okay.
For that, and then you guys can run it. We'll furnish the prize for it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, last minute addition. Since we kind of got morbid at the beginning, what do you guys think about EGTN celebrity death pool?
Is that too morbid?
Too morbid? No, not at all. He's shaking his head.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm cool.
All right, we'll throw that in there too.
We have to say that no one can call Betty White because
she's a treasure.
Well, you don't want to jinx it.
Right.
yeah.
She's a treasure.
And if you lose, I will gift a sub to Chris's Twitch channel. So
Yes.
for the losers.
Yes. Which means I'm going to get a sub anyway. So we've got a hard stop here. There was a lot more that was actually on the list that I would love to go over, but we want to be mindful of you guys' time. So thank you, BRob. Thank you, Justin. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
This has been a blast. I've been really looking forward to this for about 2 weeks now.
Well, hopefully we met your expectations.
You did, and this is why
exceeded.
Exceeded.
No.
This
Yeah.
is-
Excelsior.
I'd like
Good
us
job.
to do this again sometime.
Yeah, no, I thought this was awesome, and we all got to be in a room together and
And it's been great.
a little normalcy. And
Yeah.
And I was telling her, like, when you can get around a table and everybody's face to face, it's so much. You can feed off each other so much
Well,
easier.
And Comic Cons are starting to come back, so
Comic-Cons
maybe we can do a trip to one or something, and then do like a podcast from a room.
awesome.
Well, you know, the main Comic Con is in November now.
Yeah.
San Diego. They announced it. I don't think I'll be
They
able to
announced Sting is going to the Little Rock one.
make it. Is he really?
So, depending on what's going on that day, my plan is to take Tinker and go over there.
That'll be fun.
He's the only person that of note that I would go.
We're getting a Wizard Con here too. Is that? I know
We
that's like
usually do.
Ohio and.
We usually do, but I haven't heard this.
There's gonna be a Dallas one coming
Yeah,
up.
and Tulsa
Okay.
Pop Kids hasn't said anything about them doing theirs this year. So.
I don't think Tulsa Pop Kids is gonna do it this year.
And
So we'll throw that out there on the Discord and like if
Have a meetup, EGTN meetup
we'll meet up. If you guys want to meet up, we'll just freaking road trip down there.
for all 19 of us.
so for you wrestling people, there's a guy named Nash, Kevin Nash or something like that.
Who's that?
Oh, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
mean,
not
is
a
he
wrestling
tall?
person, so I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm
Is
saying.
he
Oh yeah, no, I
But-
got a picture with him.
He is actually
He's pulling out his phone. Hang on, boys.
he's going to be
Kid.
in Ardmore this next week.
Is he really?
Yeah. So if you, I'll put that information on Discord.
Yes, please do.
Okay.
Because I also put that Lou Ferrigno and on because
Yeah,
Lou
that was
Ferrigno,
awesome.
in Broken Arrow. So yeah, I'll put that.
Yes,
on
please. Yes, please.
You got it. But I just wanted to let you guys
Yeah,
know.
because my son did the Wolfpack, the Too Sweet deal to Kevin
Nice.
Nash, and without Kevin Nash even prompting him, he thought it was the coolest thing. Yeah, that was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up.
That's awesome. Had we more time, we were going to do a nerd drum between 4 people.
Yeah.
We'll do that next time.
We'll do it next time. We haven't done one in a bit. We'll do it the next one.
So, again, BRob, Justin, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. With that, this has been EGTN. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle. Wherever you guys are, have a good morning, evening, good night, and be good to each other.
See ya.
Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made up word. MCs shied away from belief. Rest assured.